First, there was Dueling Citizens, now Secrets from the Inside. Author Greg Meakin nails it again. Introducing Secrets from the Inside Radio Show. Raw, unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled. Secrets from the Inside starts now. With your hosts, Greg Meakin, Val Olson, and Captain James McCormick.
Hey, Val, you can write this down on a Post-it note. I think I'm on time. Been running by the seat of my pants today.
You're coming through loud and
how's
clear.
my mic? How's my mic sound? I always ask the same thing. Am I good?
Yeah, you sound really good. Really crisp this morning.
Is close like this good? Is that all right? Or do you prefer back a little bit like this?
Close is good. We want to make sure that our friends in Australia can hear you this morning. So the closer, the better.
Oh, London forever! I'm gonna track down this listener. It was a listener to a Rhea Bowes show, Val, our favorite English broadcaster. She's awesome. It was the UK, as we say. And that listener, I kid you not, she went into the chat room and called me Mr. Midnight. Remember that, Mr. Midnight?
For sure.
I'm in my 60s. I don't know if she wanted to ask me out or what, but it was pretty. We're off to the races. Remember, Val, what's fun? These first 15 minutes of quote the old Twitter Spaces would be really kind of jockeying around, trying to get your sound and stuff. And I really wanted to get it pretty clean and tight, like we're doing today. Because first secret of the day is these first 15-minute previews. They're previews. They're sneak previews, blah, blah. Well, while we get our garbage mic settings, I've had some bad ones over the months, but they're going to actually be, we're just going to be doing those private in the future. This 15 minutes, we'll do a hard start at 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Alberta and Arizona time. And of course, noon Eastern, where the Captain McCormick always logs on from. I chatted with him, Val. I chatted with him literally 7.5 minutes ago. I told him, wow, I got to go on air. He's going down to the museum to do his 8-hour shift volunteering at the museum, right? So he said, tell Miss Val, Miss Val, our military radio gal, Miss Val, our military radio gal is who he calls you. And I said, don't worry, James, maybe next show or later on. He said, oh, no, that just means I'm going to be a little late logging on. Meaning, what do you mean? Like maybe 5 minutes late? So, this is the team that we got around. We come to the game to play, Val. We come to the game to knock it out of the park. We don't just show up, right? So anyhow, I've already blabbered. Turn it back to you. This first 15 minutes, what I love is, let's just say nobody listens. Let's just say that, Val. We won't say that it might touch 1 million people. We won't say that because that's a secret. But we just tape our shows. You remember that? That was the business plan, the plan of action. Goes a long way back. This is number 27 with you and me, Val. 27 and 27 and episode 003 all rolled into one. So there you go. Yes. You thought you could keep me off the monologues today, but you forgot. No, you didn't forget. That's my show. I'm the dictator, right? I say whatever I say. I told James, even if in pre-show prep, I'm the pre-show guy too, which I have a list of, I think. And I said, and don't worry, James, whatever we plan for, whatever, our plan won't work out. We'll talk about something else anyways, or throw a wrench into it. Or I said, at any time, if we are a speaker, like, talk about Captain James McCormick, or you talk about IT Wendy's coming on at the 30-minute mark, fingers crossed. He said, no matter what, if it takes longer, it takes longer. Right. We've done a 4-minute mic check yesterday that turned into, I think it was like hour and 14 minutes, Val, of beautiful, beautiful radio, which, by the way, that's going to be in the secret vault. That's going to be Greg's secret files. It was just too good to air right now. So anyhow, I'm going to turn it back to you. If I sound like I was ready to go, thank you, man. you rallied me. You rallied the troops before the show. So good for you. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm
coming through 2 microphones this morning, my phone And my military radio microphone has a loose connection this morning. So let me know if I need to be closer to one of them. At this time, though, I just want to give a shout out. This radio show is brought to you by Kaizen. That's Kaizen. Kaizen. So they're not the sponsor of our show. Kaizen is a principle, continuous daily improvement. What that means is we wake up in kindergarten every day, and there's always something to learn. So never underestimate the power of that pencil and paper that you have beside you. Some days you wake up, let's be honest, just feeling like you're in the loser file. You're at the back of the office, you've got the worst desk, your boss knows you by a number, not your name, and your life sucks. That's what it feels like. This radio broadcast will change all that. We will dismantle that. We'll take that thinking out. We'll turn it inside out. And by the end of the show, you are going to improve yourself in just little simple ways, because it's all about waking up in kindergarten every day. I love that. Life doesn't have to be hard or complicated, but there are a few things. You have to know who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. So welcome to Secrets from the Inside, episode 003. We have some business to take care of. I have some post-it notes, and I have my little bulletin board, and I never want to forget about where I come from and our friends back home in Alberta. Greg, can we please make some time today just to, update all my family and friends right across Alberta? Maybe the last part of our segment today, can we just reserve some time? Go to the back of the bus. And we haven't forgotten you, Alberta. There's room. So end of the show, maybe we could reserve some time, because I do have an update that I'd like to really get into. One word, quick word from me, and then I'll turn it over. Tucker.
Well, as much as I giggle, because it is fun. It's fun to listen to you on that, on the Alberta stuff, because I really, from minute one, I've kind of dismissed you on that, right? I joke so much about Canadians, and especially Albertans now, that you actually deserve nice things. Okay, I know you're Canadian. I know you don't deserve anything, but you actually do deserve nice things. You actually deserve to be Alberta 51. You actually deserve to win hockey championships. So there's lighthearted humor on that, but I do want to remind, since this is really our secret little preview, I want to remind everyone in Alberta right now, please don't be too close to the forest to see the trees. There's so much going on in the world outside Alberta. It's not a cliche. There's a ton of stuff going on the U.S. side, But I will, okay? I really mean it, because we're kind of backing up with info on Alberta. We update it every day, Val. I texted you and talked to you this morning about updates, even on our voter poll.
Yes.
A number of cities, blah, blah, blah. So let's definitely take some time, whether it's 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Seriously, Val. I never make any promises in life, but kind of we always target 59 minutes. I said that like Canadian accent. We always target 59 minutes. So let's just say if it goes over a little bit, just so we can squeeze in that 10, 15 minutes, because there's big stuff. We do have to release some fresh info and stuff, and eye-opening stuff.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's do Alberta segment, maybe, whatever. Let's do that. Very important. In the meantime, I'll turn it back to you, where it looks to me like we're probably 6 minutes before our hard start. Anything kind of kicking into your end? We had an amazing mic check yesterday. I think we filed that away in our secret files.
Yeah. Well, that was, we checked your cans, and it was a good connection. Good connection there. But over to Alberta.
I listened.
Go ahead.
I listened through that show, Val. Thank God we're, quote, not on the retail air yet. Listen to that show, and it was interesting. I could clip it out and hear you say, well, Greg's cans, my cans. And I believe you said cock and balls, but that was like copyrighted or something. And I think you were talking about a pub or something. I'm not sure, but I'll end up clipping that out. But thank goodness we're not on the retail air yet. Thank goodness this will probably be stuck in our secret files here for future reference and members only for each week. Secret members only, whatever. That's a teaser for later in the show. I can't wait. Seriously, Val. Looks like we got, and if I breathe heavily, I apologize here. My mic's really close, and I've been walking my dog Jessie today, looking for a stray cat, but that's another story. Thank God we're not on the air yet. And turn it back to you. Looks like we've got about 5 minutes. James will likely parachute in today to your kitchen table. Yeah, make a scene a little bit about your kitchen table, what your product is and what your product's been for the last year and a half. Val Wilson Radio around her kitchen table. And James will be parachuting in. He's got a lot to tell you, Val. It's all secrets. Imagine that, secrets on the inside. And also IT Wendy's got some big stuff today. Okay, she's got some big stuff today. We're going to talk about. I'll wait for 30 minutes on that. She's working on some really new, cool, inside edgy stuff called human design. Just wait to hear that. So I'm going to turn it back to you for 3-4 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll wait for Captain to parachute in, but also hard start at first of the hour. So there you go.
Well, on that note, I will make sure my English tea, the best, finest tea, will be ready to be served at 9:30. Hard start. We will welcome IT Wendy and Captain James. He will be landing at any time. I will ring the bell just so you know he's here, he's arrived. And I always have an extra wing on hand for my table because there's room for everyone. And yesterday I talked really directly to my friends, my buddies, my homies, the people that often just get overlooked. They have the heart of really an underdog, but they have the brains of geniuses. That's just the truth. And oftentimes they're made to feel worthless or just like a big loser. They're not. They're my peeps, and why I do what I do. Back office radio, they're the ones that have the little earbuds in and they work while they listen. That's my crowd. That's the good people, the good guys, the good gals with heart and skin in the game. And they're not just a pencil pusher, they're not just a keyboard hero. They're the game changers. So really super important to me, and why I have a large dining room table and why I have extra wings on hand, because there is a place around this table for you, rank and file friends. So good morning. Secrets from the Inside, episode 003. Greg, you have approximately under 2 minutes to just talk uninterrupted, starting now.
Oh, you got the stopwatch. Thank God for Generation X females like my pal Val. You keep us on track. Seriously. Oh my God, 2 minutes. That's an eternity for me. Get ready, right? Oh, I will take a couple minutes here. Our hard start's coming up. Hard start. I'm saying that Canadian now. Hard start.
60 seconds.
It's coming up at 10 o'clock, but I still say Z, not Z. So I will say at the top of the hour, seriously, Ved, like V, Val, Val Olson. All my friends are Vals these days. Seriously, I got Val back in Montreal. Got a Val in our condo complex. Anyhow, we're coming up to the first of the hour. Do your, if you would, do your kind of intro again. Welcome to the episode. This is going to be retail, so our front door is opening here, right at the first of the hour. So you can start with that, including the Kaizen statement, because that's like bigger than people think. I'm actually going to turn it back to you early and let you line up whatever. There you go. I have the first of the hour right here, so I'll leave it back to you here.
Okay, let's go. Secrets from the Inside, episode 003. I'm Val Wilson, your facilitator. Greg Meakin, the everything guy, the producer, the just the guy who has the biggest microphone. He is here. He's checked in, ready to go, and Captain James McCormick will be joining us momentarily at any time. I never know when he lands because he's off the radar. But we have a great connection. We're thrilled that you're here today, that you're joining us. And I just a little housekeeping. We do have a new filing cabinet. It's an old school one, but Greg managed to get a filing cabinet, and he's had me put labels on the different files. There's only so many, so I'm busy behind the scenes with my little post-it note and Sharpie writing national security, secret files. You know, there's a Val recipe section in there. And what other labels do you want me to put on the filing cabinet drawers, Greg?
Wow, do you see me come back to that? I was actually on mute, but I'm on my game today, thanks to your task mastering before show. I'm on my game, Val. I'm on my game. Anywho, the only thing I'd bring up to add to that list is that you're talking about the secret vault, right? Secrets, Greg's secrets. In the car business, we called it the crypt. The crypt, which is where dead deals were, deals that were worked but were dead. I love that because the people didn't have good enough credit, or they couldn't couldn't trade in their car for the right money, whatever. So we put it in the crypt. And whatever, as you know, I'm an old sales manager, general manager, CEO, and I'd say to my young salespeople, "Oh, you have nothing to do? You're not on the phone. You're not working deals. You're not prospecting. You're not looking for leads. Well, here we go." And I'd go to the crypt. Well, here's a great big filing cabinet full of files, and these are all dead deals. So why don't you guys go try to resurrect one? If anything, just give people a call to thank them for coming into the dealership 3 months ago when we dropped the ball and couldn't get your deal done. Right?
Well, and you know, it's funny because people.
But before I forget, the only thing I want to add to that, here you go. The only thing I want to add to that knowing is a file that tries to answer the question. Will the Toronto Maple Leafs ever win a Stanley Cup again? There you go. I'll back to you, Val. I try to trash the Toronto Maple Leafs just for my Toronto friends. I'm going to put on a contest. Maybe to get people's attention. People only have their attention when there's money involved. So $100 contest. And it's going to be called, "How many times does Greg Meakin trash the Toronto Maple Leafs in why he came to America and what I think now?" How many times?
Never underestimate the power of what you actually find in that dead file crypt, right? I mean, I used to be like that. You're giving me more papers to file. Come on. Like, haven't I graduated from that? And then you pick up a file with a name like Jane Doe. And it's like, whoa, stop the bus here. Are you telling me that's like Jane Doe, like Russian spy Jane Doe who wants to buy a car? Whoa, really? So yeah, my point is, don't underestimate what's in the crypt. And just because it says dead deal on it, you know, don't be a loser, be a winner, and don't assume that the person is actually dead. You know, like, did you actually see a dead body? Like, come on.
Val, when you say loser, now you've got the key words now. Loser, right? Garbage. Don't write garbage. Don't be a loser. It's just so good. But when you say that, okay, here, I'll even preempt my first secret of the day. This, I didn't think so, but I've been in a book. I think you might have known this, but we're on this subject. I've been in a book. I actually contributed to what became a New York Times bestseller. And I love it. And it was called Worth More Dead. Okay, fact check me. It was an Anne Rule bestseller. I think you might remember that, Val. I think it was like number high 20s or so. She had 34 bestsellers. But Anne Rule I contributed to. And if you open up that book, it's called Worth More Dead. You'll see, she called me. She said, "Greg, I've put you in the acknowledgments. I put you in the introduction. All of your photos are in there. I talked about you a lot." And this is an author calling me, right, Val? We appeared on Northwest Afternoon. that afternoon. You remember that? That was like, ooh, you don't remember it, but like 2005. So I'm in a book called Worth More Dead. I was the main contributor to the book. And if anything, how good a segue is that's telling. I think that qualifies as my secret of the day. And the funny thing about it, it's a secret, but it's all over online, right, Val? Those are the best secrets that are right in front of you, right before your eyes. So there
All
you go.
right.
Back
Well,
to you,
for
Val.
those of you that have your pen and paper out, you can add that to your read list. And while we have a minute, I will share my secret. And it's an at-home secret. It's Christmas season around the corner, and I have a 6-year-old. She is so tiny and so cute, and she is just pure joy. And she's the little one that just sees everybody. And she has a smile that really can light up the world. And she said to me the other day, Mom, I just want to see you smile and everyone around me smile at me, because I look at everybody in the eyes and they don't see me all the time. And then when they don't smile back at me, because I'm always smiling at them, I think they're mad. And my brain tells me that they're mad, that someone's mad at me, or that you're unhappy. And I just want you to smile at me so I know you're happy. And you know what? That's for me, that's a secret that stops the game, right? Stops the game. And I'm like, you're telling me you want more smiles everywhere you go for Christmas. That's what you want. And she just lost her little tooth. So she's missing her tooth as she's smiling with a big grin. And yes. So what we are doing between now and Christmas is we are hunting down smiles. And I am so excited because this is not like a, tickle me Elmo stupid Teddy thing that people are going to stand in line for. This is something I can actually do and do right and do well and be on about. And I think that that's what it's all about. I think that that story, you get it. You understand what I'm talking about. And I want to be available there and on, and we are hunting down real smiles. So if you're following us or watching us or see us in public, don't forget to smile, because we'll be smiling at you. That's our Christmas list for 2023, making smiles.
Val, you're going to get me emotional right out of the gate here,
Leave
right?
it to a 6-year-old, right? Yeah.
Oh my God. Or as they say in Alberta, right out the gate. They forget the word. The Albertans forget words sometimes, and they forget vowels a lot. We'll talk about that another time. So right out the gate, you got me emotional. I want to talk about Erica for 2 seconds, okay? Before I forget. You just relayed a story which I personally went through my own epiphany when my twins were little. And you know them? And I'm guessing, I'm guessing they were about 8 or 9 years old by this time. And I was working 80, 90 hours a week in the car business. And they had said, kind of like that, I think that movie of that New York Wall Street salesman where the kid came to him and said, Daddy, or the lawyer or something, Daddy, could I be a client? Could I be a client? Because all you are is with clients all the time, right? Leaving town for clients. Could I be a client? Looking for an appointment with her dad over the weekend. So that was your little moment there. And I had that one of those with my twins. Same thing. I ended up having an epiphany and built an ice arena. That's built a $5 million ice arena as a result of that. So be careful what your epiphanies are here, Val. But my little Erica story, and I love it. I don't care what amount of time it takes, because this is really cool. You jog my memory. What people don't know, the last couple of years, this whole Alberta thing and this whole thing in me publishing and stuff, this is out of the blue, right? I wasn't expecting it. And at one point, I was doing what was a really cool event at the time. I'd done it several times in the past. 20 years ago with Bremerton Ice Arena, I had a grand opening with Apollo Ono. Hello. And a Wayne Gretzky endorsement. Hello. If you go big. That's what Donald Trump wrote in 1985. Been researching him since 85. If you're going to go big. And so, and now I say the older I get, okay, the bigger that I get, the bigger I go, the smaller I want to stay. And you can't get smaller than a 6-year-old. And I was at a point, I was putting on the campfire chat. I thank God. I feel like you're my, my psychiatrist here, just listening to my stories. But Eric, I'm sitting there, and I was in the patio, mandatory patio in my little Arizona City condo where I hold court there, and I was on the phone with my friend Val Olson, and I'd said to Val at the time, because you were on the inside of this, I was holding my campfire chat. I was going to be an event in Arizona City, a nice event. Private owner donated his home, his backyard, blah, blah, for a campfire chat. It's now become famous. There's another one coming up here too, Val, but don't tell anyone. That's a secret. There's another campfire chat coming up. Don't tell anyone. So, but what people don't realize are the tough times. I was sitting in my patio, walking away from this nonsense. Walking away, whatever Alberta you're doing up there. I'm from Quebec. Yeah, whatever, this is not worth the time. Blah, blah, blah. It just isn't. And I did the same thing with my campfire chat, where people really didn't, quote, know what it was or whatever. I was talking to some major players maybe to participate or whatever. And turns out we just had one special guest. And as you said at the time, the only people that need to be at that campfire will be there. And you were right. It was Sheriff Mark Lamb. But I was walking away from it. You remember this, Val. It's good. You're kind of being my witness here. I was sitting talking to you and said, I'm done here. Let's not. It's just too complicated. People don't get it. They don't know what a campfire chat is. They never heard of the Hot Stove League in hockey. They never heard of that. They never heard of FDR with his fireside chat. So that's cool. That's fine. And I'm going to come walk away, maybe go get myself a job as a Walmart greeter or something. Or And here we go. You said to me, no, stop right there, Greg. I got a message from Erica, my 6-year-old. I think she was 5 maybe at the time, maybe 6.
5, yep.
And here's her message. She said, Erica said to you, her mommy, she said, that man, that man who looks like the shepherd, the old man, right? Whatever. That man, he's writing a story to Jesus. He's writing whatever to Jesus. He's talking to Jesus, and we need to let him do that. And we need to pray for him. And you had said, because basically she's saying 2 roads are diverging in a yellow wood, but she didn't know, right? Because I'm walking, Val, you knew this. And you said, and Erica, I asked Erica, well, what do you mean talking with Jesus? Whatever. And she said, you remember this. You can testify. You can witness to this. She said on a keyboard, writing. He's writing and kind of letters up to God, and Jesus is answering. So I said, okay, Val, I'm done. Meaning I'm in with both feet here. I'm into Alberta 51. I'm into an eventual radio program platform, which we talked about. I'm in for our military people. I'll take a bullet for them. I'd almost take anything for those military guys, our heroes. But that was without Erica. Without Erica telling me, no, go ahead and do the campfire chat. Like Jesus is backing it.
That's right. Yeah.
Without Erica, there's no AB 51 for me. I still knew Mark Lamb and stuff, but there's no political activism for me. There's no talk of the November 2024 election for me. I'd rather be a Walmart greeter because there's no stress, responsibility, and you actually get paid for it. So there's my Erica story of the day. Already I've broken my rules today and talked more than I thought. But that's to Erica. And yes, it's to Olivia. And yes, it's to Rylan. Okay? Okay? This is all that matters is the children. Everything you ever need in life, you'll hear from your kids. Everything.
Yeah.
Carson once said to me, you've interviewed Carson. Oh my God, he's 34. But he said to me, and this was a young age. This was when I lived in. This is when I was building the ice arena, before the ice arena. So he was probably only 6, 7 years old. And I remember this. I came home stressed from working my 80-hour weeks. I just call it 80-hour weeks, whether it's 60, whether it's, I know what a 100-hour week looks like. I know what it's like to work 21 straight bell-to-bell shifts without a day off, whatever. And I came in and I was stressed. I was pissed, as husbands and fathers will be. I just, whatever, after a 12-hour shift came in, I had my paycheck with me. And walked in. I remember it to this day, as ever. Miss Deb had dinner waiting for me and the kids to say hi to me and whatever. And I came in and I said, I was so pissed at the world. You're paying all the bills and you're stressed and you're this and you're that. It was terrible at work and blah, blah, blah. I came up and I said, and here's where I said this to my twins. It's so funny. They were both listening to me, but Carson piped up. I said, guys, if anyone knew the stress that I was under or the bills that I got to pay, if anyone knew that, if you guys knew that, that pissiness, then you'd appreciate what I do, right? Here we go. What Carson said to me. He thought about this, and having interviewed him, you'd understand this. He thought, and he was serious, his heart attack. He just looked up at me, and we were in the kitchen. And he said, Dad, if I made the money you made, I'd be happy to pay the bills. Because he looked at my paycheck. I promise you, this Secrets from the Inside was like $7,300. But it was a terrible month for me at the time. So there's my Carson story. I've already broken my rules. I've broken off the schedule, the itinerary. But so the net is thank you, Erica. You changed my life. Even the little ones in the world, even 6-year-olds, they can move mountains. They can change lives. So I'll put it back to you on that one. Thank you to your baby girl there, man. She means the world to me, Val.
Yeah, look to kids to, just bring it back to reality and simplify it. And speaking of simplifying it, we're going to have our IT extraordinaire, Wendy, coming on at the bottom of the hour to talk about design, human design. What I love about that is that ties to children and in the way that it's real, it's simple. And the more you learn about yourself and who you are in the journey, like what you're really supposed to be doing, it helps make things simple. And it also brings time back into check instead of running around unhappy and frantic. It's just simple. You get time back. We manage time on this show really, really well, and we use it to our advantage. Coming back to the sponsor of our show, Kaizen, we really get a hold of time, and we manage it. We manage our time well, and that's what it's all about. Greg, over to you.
Well, short and sweet, excellent. Looks like we're just after 15 minutes after the hour. Very cool, very cool. We got a lot on the air already, Val. As we say, we got a lot of clips on the air already. Life is not. What is it? My expression is a eulogy is not 83 years long. It's the highlights, it's the clips, it's whatever. So we're already off to the races here. I see that I have, thank goodness, because of technology. I don't usually work with technology. I'm a baby boomer, right, Val? We have someone at the door. It looks like we might have a captain, major commander at the door. You know what? I'll let you introduce him. You've been behind the scenes with this captain stuff. He's got some stuff to say today, but I'll let you introduce him. People have heard my intros with his 5 purple, his 3 purple hearts and his bronze star and his association leadership and all that stuff. But I'll turn it to you. I'd rather listen actually to you and the captain speak right now than Greg Meakin for a change. How about that? My second secret of the day is I'll shut my mouth for like 2 minutes. How about that?
Captain James, I don't know why you rang the bell because you're like family here. So you just come on inside. Next time, no bell warning. You just come right on in. So you've landed, you're here. What's happening? Fill us in.
Well, I just want to say first off, it's a great day to be alive. It's a wonderful day to be alive. We should be thankful to God Almighty for every minute that we have. The second thing I want to do is I want to reiterate that warning that I gave to the any of these terrorists or any of these pro-terrorist people out here. Don't be bringing none of that horse shit over here to West Virginia, because I'm telling you right now, we're going to run you out on a rail. They're going to be carrying you out. We see all of this destruction, all this nonsense that's going on across America, these protests. Look, it looks like, the night of the broken glass in some of these cities going after the Jewish people. It's unbelievable. And it needs to stop, because, they might pull that stuff in Chicago and New York City, but they ain't going to pull that down in New Haven, West Virginia. I promise you that. So, anyways, want to reiterate that because every day I see something new out there, and it's disappointing to see the level of hatred for our own country by people that are living here, sucking down all the benefits of this nation, and have the least amount of respect and appreciation for any of it. And we just went through Veterans Day weekend, and they couldn't even shut their mouth for one day. On Veterans Day, what are they doing? They're out there protesting, out there throwing rocks in windows and stopping traffic, and just the same old nonsense, ignorance that's just out there blasting around. I think that this is a wake-up call for America. You need to wake up. You are going to lose your nation very quickly if we keep just laying around and letting this happen. Now, I'm not talking about going out and shouldering a rifle and doing something stupid. What I'm talking about is going out there and start voting and supporting organizations and people that are all about this country and all about freedom and all about, allowing people to actually live in that freedom. It's really unbelievable. And for me to be able to watch it, I'll tell you, I saw it in other countries. I saw this happen in Central America in different countries. I saw it happen in the Middle East and between tribes. And that's what you have right now. And if that's what these people want, well, they're on the proper pathway to get there. They will get to the point to where everyone will have to stand in line to get everything from clean drinking water to food if they're not careful. And we've got a president that is AWOL, both mentally and I think sometimes physically from his office. The appointees that he has in office are, let me just give you a case in point. Okay. And I don't want to go off on a tangent, but one thing really just aggravated me today. And, so I'm getting an email yesterday from the Veterans Administration of these United States of America that says, hey, we are going to now allow, no matter what your disability rating is, if you're a World War II veteran, we're going to take care of you. You can stay in the nursing homes. You can do this. You can use all the services. And, my mind, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm doing my math, and I'm thinking about every World War II veteran's about 98 years old or older. Okay, so, it's a nice gesture, but it's about 18 years too late. In my opinion, a veteran with an honorable discharge who's at the age of 80 years old should not have to go and have all these qualifiers. Okay, then today they come out, and I'll explain the qualifiers. Then today, the Veterans Administration, and this administration that's in charge right now, this is who owns this, 100%. They come out and they say, well, we made a mistake. It's not for all World War II veterans. It's only the ones with a 70% disability rating. So you mean to tell me, and we can't have that many World War II veterans left. I don't know exactly how many there are, but I'll get that number later. But if you think about that, it's got to have a 70% disability rating, and then they have to apply. I mean, it was a big, long letter. It was like I got tired of reading it about a quarter of the way down, thinking, if this frustrates me, imagine what it's going to do with that 98, to 100-year-old veteran that is trying to secure benefits. It's an aggravation, 100% aggravation. The other thing that I started to look at is on these qualifiers, they look at how much money you make, So if you come out of the service and you get a damn job and you support yourself and your family, well, these benefits aren't for you, big guy or big girl, because you've got a job, you work this, you can't make any money. You can only make this amount of money. So they have to go and look at how much money they've saved. Maybe they were smart and they were thrifty and they saved their money. All these things that we're told to do. And then they go in, they've been wounded or injured, or my God, age, just gets, I can't imagine. I hope I make it to that age, but, I don't think I will because of all of the stuff that's going on. But you get to that point and it's like, you're going to tell me you're not going to be able to help me. You're not going to be able to put me in a nursing home. You're not going to help me, when I got Alzheimer's, because I had a job and I had a retirement that allowed me to save money, to make money, and to do these things. So this is fresh stuff. So it just came out today. So I sent this out. Then the VA sent that to me. I sent a letter back, signed it, as the past national commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, 50,000 members in our organization. And it's like, so you're telling me that a World War II veteran comes crawling in there at 100 years old. If they happen to have a savings account or a little bit of money, or they don't have a 70% disability rating from the VA, you're going to make them go through all of that, and you're still not going to help them. And to me, there's something very wrong with the country that does not take care of their veterans. Number one, any combat or service-related injuries, they're supposed to take care of 100%. 100%. The other thing is the wear and tear on our bodies is unbelievably bad. Okay. I can tell you for me, it's knees, it's ankles, it's back, it's shoulders, it's everything. I'm 55 years old. I'm probably sporting a body of about a 65-year-old, just to be honest with you, just because of the aches and pains. And it came from that service time. And these guys in World War II and Korea, they're all over 90 years old now. They're sitting here thinking, my country's going to take care of me. I went and did and got an honorable discharge now. I'm not talking about the ones that went in for 2 weeks and got kicked out, because let me tell you, those that do that, if they go on the street and go homeless, the Veterans Administration will bend over backwards to help them before they'll help a guy like me. And I'm just going to tell you, that's just the way it is. It's a sad situation, but it's the facts. Especially when it comes to nursing home care and things that these guys and gals need right now. So Joe Biden and that crew that put these stipulations on these World War II and Korean War veterans, shame on you. And you know what? We need to get Donald J. Trump, need to get him to get a hold of this message right here. Sheriff Mark Lamb and every patriotic American that's out there running for office, Mike Warner, I've alerted him of this. Okay, all of these patriots that are out there running, okay? And they need to stand up and say something about this, because our voices need to be magnified. And meanwhile, instead of, watching the Palestinian, the PLO supporters here in America climb the damn fence of the White House, what we should be doing is standing in the halls of Congress asking for them to do the right thing. Damn, I get tired of having to tell people what the right thing is to do. It's just the right thing is to take care of these guys and gals, man. It's just terrible.
James, I think you said dang like the second or third time today, which I'm liking. Mm-hmm. I'm liking that a lot. That's West Virginia. Thank you so much for being aboard. I can't believe how nice it is to have you here. And today is, as we chatted, is Call to Action Day USA. It's Call to Action. You just did. Mm-hmm. It's calling out people. What do we got to do? November 2024. Okay, this is the fork in the road. You know this, James. So I want to. I'll turn it back to you a little bit. I know we've got our wonderful IT genius Wendy Tepley coming on, but let's take a minute here. Kind of hold over 30 minutes to the hour, and I want to hear you, James. No, seriously. Man, this is awesome. Take a few minutes, James. Okay, because I know you're volunteering at the museum today, right? Do you answer the phone too, or
I answer.
Do you give tours?
Yeah, we give tours. Yeah, my wife just walked in. We've got our
Oh
little
my
puppy
God.
German Shepherd in here. We're
Oh,
training a little
Bravo.
pup. No,
You
we
got
don't.
Bravo there with you?
No, I don't have Bravo. We have Cookie in here today. Cookie's the
Oh,
baby.
the
Yeah.
baby. The baby. How
Yeah.
cool. Do this, James, if you would. Again, I make the rules. It might not be 50 minutes. It might be holdover, but I thank you because you're the only. I hope you're getting paid for that. And I know I'm not. Val's not. Whatever. I hope you're getting paid to volunteer at the museum, right?
Yeah.
Take a
Yeah.
few minutes, seriously, James, and honestly, as much as you want.
Mhm.
You're a man on a mission. I'm not going to even go into your bio. It's too long. Okay.
Yeah. Don't even mess with it.
But dude, by the way, what's wrong with 65-year-old bodies? I want to know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 65 in January, James. What do you got against me, dude?
It's okay if you're 65, but if you're 55, it should be, it should be a wake up call to somebody.
Uh, well, I joke. I joke, but it's serious. You guys are the guys, all your Purple Heart guys, and all you guys are the ones that took the shots. People don't know you were in the hospital for a year and a half, James. They don't know that. But so on a serious note, which I really try to be now and then. By the way, I'm 65, but I have a new hip as of 2 years ago, so I'm going to be taking up pickleball. And when I take up pickleball, Val Olson's a hubby play, and I'm gonna. My goal in life is to kick his ass.
Good luck.
Honestly,
Good luck.
take a minute, but I know you because you go all the time. Talk about your organizations.
Yeah.
Talk about the Vets for Vet Leadership. Come on.
Yeah. So we got.
But go ahead and I'll turn the mic. Thank God over to you, and then we'll go over to Wendy.
Sure.
Because we're going to want to talk. But go for it. Just take your time, man.
Yeah, man. No, so of course, the military Order of the Purple Heart. I'm the past national commander from 2020 to 2021. Probably the most productive year we had in years that we had was from probably 19 to 20 and then 20 to 21. A guy named Ernie Rivera in Florida and myself, we worked together. We tried to really grow the organization. The money situation was just absolutely a disaster, but we managed to get that going back on track. The other thing that we did was we managed to add some benefits. So we've got about 50,000 members in the organization now. We need more younger members. So all of you young Purple Heart recipients, if you're not a member of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, I would encourage you to join. No excuses. Just go down there. I know a lot of them will say, well, they don't do anything. Well, then go there and do something. Okay. You can't just sit at the house and bitch about it. You got to get out and do something yourself. And this is me doing a call out to the 55 and under crowd, actually the 65 and under crowd, because there's a lot of veterans out there that were in this war and in the previous wars that have Purple Hearts and that can belong to the organization. They just got to go do it, and you got to make something about somebody else and not just yourself. So there's a level of selflessness that's involved. The other thing is Vets for Vet Leadership. We've got 69,000 members in Vets for Vet Leadership across the country. We've got state chapters in every state. Listen, man, there ain't a state in this country I can't make a phone call to and get a hold of at least 50 veterans very quickly. And that's a powerful tool to have. And don't you think that I haven't put the call out on this World War II thing? And I'm sure, that people will be upset about it, but they ain't seen nothing yet. I'm telling you, we're gonna hit Capitol Hill on this one because it's outrageous. And then you have Vets for Coal, which is an organization that I work with here in West Virginia. It's a veterans organization that it deals with coal miners, but it's in West Virginia, Kentucky, several states out west as well, Montana. So they're a little smaller, but about 20,000 members across the country. And then they added Patriots for Coal. So those that are not veterans but are just American patriots, they have a chapter for Patriots for Coal, and you can go find that at vetsforcoal.com. You can go look that one up anytime. Then, of course, you have Matt Cody's unit or organization, the Oil and Gas Workers Association, and I was honored to accept a position on the board of advisors last week. Another voluntary position, but there's 67 to 70,000 people in that organization. It's growing. So let me tell you, they were the first They were the first energy association to come out and openly endorse Donald Trump for president 2024. They're going to endorse several others. There will be some key races, gubernatorial races. West Virginia's picked up some steam. Nevada's picked up some steam. Arizona is a key state. Obviously, Texas is always one of those. Pennsylvania, Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Florida, and I don't have all the lists, but there's members in every one of those states. And the cool thing is that you're seeing it grow, and it's more than just about the oil and gas. It's about American values. It's about, workers and business owners that own, these small businesses, these small trucking companies and gas and oil companies, that they have a voice. They don't always have that voice with these other huge associations that have went to Washington, D.C., and they've just blowed up like a tick on a hound. They've just sucked the blood, and it's now they're at a point to where they just sit there and do nothing, kind of like a tick. Once it gets totally full on the back of a hound dog, and really it's time to pluck them off and get new organizations in there that are actually going to do something. And I think the Oil and Gas Workers Association is one of those great organizations. And of course, I'm a member of the VFW, the American Legion, the Disabled Veterans of America. I'm also part of the Wounded Warrior Project, and let me just say that there was a period of time which they had some problems. They had some financial problems. It's been about 10 years ago. They got some new leadership in there, and let me tell you, they've really got that thing running. I want to say thank you to the Wounded Warrior Project, because they have really turned things around, and they're doing a lot of great things for our wounded and disabled veterans. The other thing is Willing Warriors. Willing Warriors is an organization in Virginia, and they do a retreat for combat wounded veterans. And it's right there at Manassas, the first major land battle of the Civil War. And they have a real cool location. If you've never been there, you've never heard of Willing Warriors, check them out. And let me just go into. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones out there, so I don't leave any out. But there's so many out there. There's Warriors in Action, Wounded Warriors in
Hey,
Action.
James.
Yeah.
Oh, James, yeah. Remember that Wounded Warriors in Action? The network you have, don't forget, your listeners love you guys. Love you guys. We're talking about Val and I, it was so wonderful guest hosting for Continuing Mission. We got 200,000 listeners. Now, these are people that listen to you and Father Mike and Rich.
Yeah.
And so there's your network right there. I'm talking your network's got to be 300 to 500,000 of that listen to you after shares and pods. So I'll turn it back to you. There's the biggest number of the day, James.
Yeah, that's a huge number. Then of course, you expand that on the LinkedIn. So I am professionally on the LinkedIn, and I'm on this Twitter X. But I don't get the swing on here like I get on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I'll just tell you, and it's just because, I think a lot of it has to do with, if I could put something really kooky out there, like I support, dogs mating with cats, then they probably would jump all over this, and they'd say, oh, this is a great thing. But it's, I'm not into that. I'm into the righteousness. I'm into America, patriotism. And if you're not, then I just, we just have nothing in common. I've had conversations with anarchists that absolutely, want to see the downfall of the American government. Some of them want to see the downfall of the American government so that they could replace it with socialism. The other would like to see it downfall to remove the corruption and reestablish a new government. Well, I'm not into that either. I am all about the U.S. Constitution. I am a constitutional conservative, 100%. There's no doubt about that. I believe that that people should have to work to earn their way. I believe that there is a responsibility to duty to this country, and part of that duty, most of that duty, is to obey the dang laws and do the right thing. Look, man, if people just obeyed the basic laws laid out, we wouldn't need to constantly go and change laws to protect this demographic or this demographic. Oh, that's a hate crime. Let me tell you something. Anytime you go and you beat the tar out of somebody for whatever reason, that is a hate crime, period. We shouldn't have that measured because you're gay, you're white, you're black, you're Asian, or whatever. As a matter of fact, because of those hate crime laws, we've seen the watering down of normal assault and battery laws out there. So it's like, well, they probably did it because they felt offended. Well, now that's bullcrap, man. When you go over and you put your hands on somebody, you violated the basic principle of freedom. Nowhere does it say that you just get to walk up and just beat the hell out of somebody because they're Asian, or because they're Jewish, or because they're white, or because they're black. What gives you that right? Nobody gives you that right. God didn't give you that right. And for most certainly, the law shouldn't give you that right. And Greg, we grew up, all of us on here, we grew up in a time, I remember if you was acting up, I can remember cops, man, they'd shake you up a little bit. You know what I mean? They made it to where you didn't want to be arrested. And that's a good thing. Now, some people say, well, that's police brutality. Not really. I guess they say that whenever my grandpa took the belt and busted my hind end because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to, I guess that was child abuse. But ultimately, I'm not the one sitting in prison. You know what I mean? I'm not the one that's living on the street. And I got my butt beat, and I got disciplined, and I got, talked to pretty hard by a cop or two in my life. But it woke me up. And I didn't feel like, I was abused or I was picked on. Not at all. I felt like I was loved, and somebody thought enough about me that they thought enough about me to step up and to tell me when I was doing stupid, silly, monkey things, So that's some of the secrets. There's a couple of secrets that just came out there. Okay. So, I was a rough kid, man. I was, and, got caught drinking, when I was like 16 years old, getting tore up,
No, not drinking at 16, James. Drunk as a monkey. We were drinking in Montreal like 6.5 years old, dude. I had my first cigarette at 6 years old. And I'm going to turn this sound funny. I'm going to turn this back to my pal Val.
Yeah.
Remember, James, in a fun way, hang in. I'm double dipping you here. I'm getting your volunteer time on the radio while you're working at the Little West Virginia Museum. You got to send a photo of that. You're volunteering. Do you answer the phones too there?
I do. But listen, let me tell you something. Everybody likes to talk to my wife more than they like talking to me. Heather is like.
Well, that makes sense. I'd rather talk to your wife
really
than
nice.
you.
Yeah, she's really nice. She smiles all the time, but that guy in there, I don't know,
Yeah, as the old Quebec humor, I'd rather talk to your wife than you, James. Like say hi to your wife and my kids, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Once again, Val Olson's lost control of her facilitation here. Back to you, Val. Seriously. Thank you, Captain. Okay, seriously, salutes to your guys. This. I'm a broken record, but salutes to your guys back there, the 50,000 guys, and Rich and Father Mike. This is really an amazing, just kind of team of resources. And here I am sitting on my own show, wearing the multi hats. But you already told me secrets I didn't know. I mean, I talk to you almost every day, James, whether you like it or not. I talk to you every day. But I'm going to turn it back to Val here to really facilitate stuff. How fun. Maybe a quick intro to IT Wendy. IT Wendy, what I'd like her to do, I really would like her. I want to have her talk about natural design, but the 4 categories. I'm really looking at that. There's two people on this show, actually. There's 3 people on this show. We're going to exclude James here, where Wendy actually has her profile, our human design profile, done kind of like horoscopes in the old days, kind of like blah blah. I love it. Credit scoring in the old days. I knew about that 20 years before it became known. But back to you on that, Val. Thank you, and thank you, Captain. Seriously, thank you for that time. That was really good stuff.
You got it, buddy.
Secrets from the Inside, episode 003, Call to Action Day, USA. We heard from Captain James, a lot to unpack there. We're going to move over to Wendy in just a moment. So excited to talk about human design. But back to James. I just want to give the mic back to you for a minute. And on that Call to Action Day, a shout out to all my friends that are listening, the rank and files, the ones that are in the back office. And I was writing things down, as I'm sure they were, of what they can do. So, James, just talk directly to, I call them the game changers, the doers. They are not pencil pushers. They are the game changers in this. So if you want to go over like a task list or anything you want to close out with, to do with speaking directly to an action plan for USA today.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, the one thing that we can all do is follow the laws of the land, and live as peaceably as we can with each other. But the other thing that we really need to do is we need to start speaking out against this heresy and nonsense that's going on in the streets of America. A lot of people are afraid to engage people on social media, and I'm not saying social media is the place to go do it. It probably isn't, because then they just they have thousands of people that just come in and try to drown you down. But we have to step up and say, look, if you support Israel, don't be ashamed to say that. Get out and say it. The other thing about our veterans, every congressional representative in the country should get a call today and say, explain to us why it is that any honorably discharged veteran from the age of 80 up, okay, why would they need to have, why would we need to look at how much money they've got before we give them services? I mean, isn't the Veterans Administration is not designed just to help those that are broke. The Veterans Administration is designed to help those that served and their families. So I think we need to get back to the point of holding these bureaucrats accountable. And when you hold them accountable, you say, look, here's the deal. You have X amount of veterans that living in this country right now. You should be able to take care of all of them. Period. You should be able to take care of all of them. And these state agencies, every state has a Veterans Assistance Office. They should be filling in the cracks where needs are not being met. Nursing home services, rehabilitation services, all of these things, need to be taken care of. So it's like when I look at what's going on across the country, it's like the first thing that any organization, any state or legislator will cut is something for our veterans, period. So you're going to tell me that the veterans of America have less value than the illegal immigrants, or the criminals, or the LGBTQ community. I'm tired of hearing about this stuff. I really am. And Americans should be tired of hearing about it as well. I don't care whether you want to live with a man, a woman. Well, that's your business, okay? But don't make it my business. We won't make your business ours, but don't you make your business mine. And I think that we spend an exuberant amount of time, energy, and resources dealing with these small social groups. And we spend ungodly amounts of money on these illegal immigrants. We do. And we're pumping money like drunken sailors over to Ukraine. I'm all about helping the Ukrainians beat the Russians. But, there's got to be some limitations here. You just can't just write the check. It's and the same thing goes with Israel. We support Israel, but it's not an unlimited thing that we do. But in the same breath, we got an administration that's out there discussing releasing funds to the Iranians who support probably 90% of the terrorism around the world. Why are we doing that? I mean, the anything we should be supporting the internal insurgency that's in Iran right now, that's trying to raise up and overthrow the Ayatollahs and return Iran to a more peaceable place. Go do the studies on some of that. And the same thing with Americans just saying, look, we want to make America, great again, but we want to make Made in America great again. And how do we do that? We have to engage our lawmakers. We have to vote. And you have to stop voting just for political parties or what you think. Go research your candidates and really get to know who they are. All of them. Don't just take somebody's word for it. There's some of them out there that are honestly not good people. And they are setting on a conservative ticket. We've got one here in West Virginia. They claim he's the most conservative, and he brags about himself all the time, but yet he has a business that does lobbying for Planned Parenthood. Now, how in the world can you sit out there and tell voters that you're pro-life when your wife and you're fed and many of your bills are paid by the money that she's making working for Planned Parenthood or being a registered foreign agent for a Russian company and a Chinese company? How does that work? I'm not sure that I want that person living in the governor's mansion, in West Virginia. And anybody that's a real patriot should look at that and say, you know what, hey, but some of them will say, well, it's not his wife running. But still, his wife is there, and he's profiting from that money that she makes.
James, how is Mac polling? How's Mac polling?
He's polling real well. I mean, he's he's in a dead heat for second place. But I think that he's pulling out a little bit more now because he got General Flynn's endorsement. He's probably going to get Donald Trump's endorsement, which will absolutely send him skyrocketing. Look, man, we're reaching out to Donald Trump Jr. and to the family, and we are letting them know that there are candidates in West Virginia, Patrick Morrissey being one of them, okay, that is taking money from Club for Growth, taking money from Americans for Prosperity, the two groups that are attacking him, and simultaneously is taking money from his wife's lobbying firm, who is lobbying for Planned Parenthood. Bottom line, you can't have people like that. See, that is what's put us in the position we're in now. We have put grifters and we have put people in that have no morals, no scruples whatsoever. Let me tell you, I live by this acronym, leadership acronym. Leadership, L, and I'm just going to tell it now. Loyalty to God, loyalty to yourself, loyalty to your country. Okay, D, duty. You have a duty to your Constitution, your country, and your family, and most importantly to God. Okay, focusing back on God. Then we go to R, respect. Respect is a mutual thing. So LDR, respect. Respect for other people, respect for yourself. You respect yourself by not lying, not cheating, not stealing, or tolerating others that do. And then you have S, for selfless service. Selfless service is self-explanatory. You serve because it's the right thing to do. You don't go out and do something because you hope to get something out of it. If you're doing that, then you're in the wrong business. You're going to sacrifice something else. H is for honor. Okay. So when we look at honor, it's the one thing, if you lose your honor, it's the hardest thing to get back. And in some cases, people never get it back their entire life. They do something stupid. They do something silly. They sell themselves out to the devil and they lose it. So honor is very important to me. I get up. How do I be an honorable person today? What is the honorable thing to do? Okay. Then integrity. Integrity means doing the right thing when nobody's looking. There's not a lot of integrity on Capitol Hill. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And there's not any integrity in the White House right now. And there's definitely a problem with integrity in my very own state of West Virginia when you got a guy running for governor who's sitting in the attorney general seat, whose wife is out there making oodles gobs of money from Planned Parenthood, and they're all screaming that they're pro-life. How can you be pro-life when you're sleeping with the damn enemy? You don't. So there's no integrity there. And let me tell you, we wrap it all up. You got to do all of this with one more thing, and it's the P, and that's personal courage. And if you don't have personal courage, then all of those words will probably mean nothing to you. But you got to have the personal courage to be able to apply all those things in your life. Clean your own porch off before you go to clean somebody else's off. You know, now people are going to attack you, hate you. They're going to say things about you. They're going to make it up if they can't find it. Okay? Get ready to deal with that. If you have any integrity in your life, if you live an honorable life, expect to be attacked. Expect to be attacked because it'll happen. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's the call to action. Live by the acronym leadership. You know, loyalty, duty, respect. You know, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. If you apply that to every decision you make, I promise you, your life is going to be honorable. And you may not be the richest person in the world financially, but you darn sure are going to be the richest person in your own soul. And remember to love God, man, and love your neighbors as you love yourself. And that's it. That's your call to action.
So good. Oh, that was awesome. So inspiring. Captain James this morning, thank you. We're going to bring Wendy into the show now. And Greg, why don't you just take a second and introduce our IT genius, Wendy?
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And thank you for that call to action, James. Gentlemen like you and me and Val Olson, Wendy Tepley, Sheriff Mark Lamb, Gordon Kessler, we're talking to the young people, the young men, the Gen Zs, the youngsters coming up, the goodness gracious, the alphas, the young alphas are 15 years old now. There's a whole group of young men, especially men, because they don't have any leadership. They don't have any mentors. They got the public school system. Hello, hello, hello. So I thank you for that call to action on your end. Again, thanks, Val, for being such an awesome facilitator. We have on deck, stepping to the plate, Wendy Tepley. Wendy's one of my best buddies in the world, as she'll admit. I'm sitting here. It's so fun to sit and watch her icon on the screen with that gorgeous photo, and seeing Val Olson, seeing James McCormick, and then seeing me in my hockey gear. Okay, welcome to high technology. Wendy's my buddy back to high school. I won't take a long time here. She's I say IT genius in that she's a baby boomer like me, but she learned IT late in her life, say, especially on the graphics and creative end. I work real closely, including working to this day. Very much like you, Val, Wendy is a taskmaster with me. I'm working on a shopping cart to put my book on the market and stuff. And and I'm just dogging it like everything else these days. So I'll turn it over to you. I want especially, and I'll just turn it over really to you and Val and Wendy. And I really want ever to talk on this human design. I do believe it's the new horoscope, the new credit scoring of the world. But and Wendy was not going to, like all of us, you got to prepare. You got to prepare for battle and branding and marketing and stuff. And she was probably going to roll this out maybe sometime in January. I said, no, that doesn't work. You got to get on Secrets from the Inside. Give us some inside secrets. So on the human design thing, she has your profile, Val. I think she has mine. I agree to release the information. No NDA here, no non-disclosure agreement. I'm going to turn it back over to Wendy with my thanks. Again, I'll have you do a quick intro here too, Val. But I thank from the bottom of my heart, Wendy Tepley. I really mean it. God, I'm getting reflective of my old days, sentimental. I'm turning into Alan Alda the more that I see it, and I'm now I'm reflective on high school and stuff. And Wendy's really brought me back, but also really pushed me forward from an IT standpoint, marketing standpoint, branding standpoint. She's just awesome. And I'll turn it back to you before I blabber too much, Val. But I welcome to Secrets from the Inside, Wendy Tepley. I'll bet you she's got a. Oh, remember, she's got to give a quick secret, even if it's small. But also, I want to hear her call to action day, USA. And turn it back to you, Val. Real quick, back to you.
Wendy, the floor is yours. You can start, if you feel up to it, with sharing your secret.
Wow, got to start with the secret. Well, first of all, I'm tickled to be here again with everybody. And IT, yes, but let's add HD to that. And HD is human design. So it's relatively new field when we talk about astrology. That's a very ancient practice. I Ching is an ancient practice, the Kabbalah. All of those things now have been incorporated into something we call human design. And what it tries to do is actually be a science of differentiation. So it takes all of these studies and it turns it into a profile that you can actually have action steps, get to know who you really have come into this world to be. What is your purpose? We lose that along the way with all the conditioning of our parents, of the world around us, and it's getting even noisier now with everything that's bombarding us. So I think the timing of human design really starting to be the go-to tool for people to really reconnect with their soul's purpose and facilitate making easier decisions, meet less resistance in their life, feel happier in their life, in their relationships, whether that's work or personal. It's a wonderful tool to be able to do that. So one of the things you do need to know is your birth time. So if you don't have that, some astrologers have the ability to help you determine what your birth time is. But if you do know it, and you obviously know the date you were born and you know where you were born, then we can determine what type you are. So human design has, 5 different types, starting out with manifestors. And we look at projectors. And then we have generators. And then we have manifesting generators and reflectors. So with the time I have here today, I'm going to go into manifestors and projectors because I'm a manifester. Greg is a manifester. And Val, you're a projector. So what does it mean to be a manifester? Well, excuse me again. Gee, after listening for so long, I have to get my voice up to speed here. So manifestors, our type is really a type that is a trailblazer. We are the ones who bring new ideas into the world, bring inspiration, and we're really here to make the first move. So we're the ones who are going to be initiating ideas. We're not here to wait. So that gives you a permission to tune into that ability that you have, the energy that you have as a manifestor to do those things. And then we look at, and that really comes into your strategy. So there's a strategy part to every profile. And a strategy is really to initiate things and to inform. So one of the best ways to be really in your zone, in your lane as a manifester is not only to come up and be a trailblazer and initiate ideas, but also to inform. So that'll help reduce the resistance if you're actually informing people of what you're going to do before you do it. So a lot of us will tend not to do that because we don't want to meet with the resistance. We don't want to be told no. But as a manifester, that is what's going to allow us to really shine and be able to initiate things. Then each person has their own individual authority. And what authority is really the way that you make decisions best. And for, for both Greg and myself, we have a tune into your intuition. So that is our strongest way to be able to make decisions, is by that intuition. It's one of our strongest traits. So we have to be able to tap into that little quiet voice inside that tells us our intuition is honing in on something. And then each of us will have a profile, and you're going to have to excuse me. I got to take a sip of water.
Take your time. Grab a water break.
Woo!
I'm having coffee here on the side too. Go ahead.
Okay, we're back. So your profile is made up of 2 numbers. And again, this is all determined by where all the planets were when you were born, the time that you were born. They're made up of 2 numbers. So I'm a 3-5 profile and Greg is a 3-6. So we both have that 3 in common. And the 3 in a profile really means that you're somebody who learns through trial and error. So Greg, does that sound like you? You're an experimenter. You learn best by trial and error. You're not going to learn best by somebody telling you how it's done. You'll listen, but then you're going to go ahead.
I told you, hey Val, I told you this is the new horoscope, right, of 2023. Wendy, I'm sitting back listening to my own show. I was on mute. I heard my name. I said, oh my God, do I have to talk here? Are you kidding me? You know, reckless? Hello?
Yeah.
Since high school.
Yeah,
right?
we're the experimenters with a 3 in your profile. And that's not unique to being a manifester. Because actually, Val, you have a 3-5 profile like I do. So you are also somebody who learns through trial and error. You're the experimenter. Does that sound like you?
Well, there's so many numbers and letters and yes, I definitely am an experimenter, not afraid.
So it resonates with you. Okay, so the 5 in the 3-5. So the 5 is somebody who's here to love, to help people and guide them, to actually be the liberator. So that's what the 5 in your profile will mean. And these are really generalities. I did call it a science of differentiation. So when you do really get a reading of your body graph, which is your chart, there are so many other aspects of it that will dissect your strengths, your gifts, what you're here to do. So, you know, my 3-5 is going to be a little bit different than Val's 3-5. Greg being a 3-6, the 3-6 is innate wisdom. You're a role model and a very wise sage. I don't know about that, but
I'll pay you $5.
Dollars, yeah.
There's something nice about me, Wendy. You said something nice. That's very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no better profile or better, type or authority. It's really taking the energy that was incarnated into your body and using it to your advantage, using this tool to live your life in better alignment with yourself and with the people around you. So, and just to give you, background on the other, there's 6 profile numbers. So, like we said, the 3 is learning by trial and error. 5 is somebody who loves to help people, is here to guide them and liberate them. 6 is the innate wisdom, the role model. Number 1 is if you have the 1 in your profile, you're a knowledge seeker, you're an investigator. That will inform how you go about your life. If you're 2, you're just the natural. Those people just seem really natural at doing things. What the neat thing about this system is that this is in you, whether you recognize it or not. So you might say to somebody, yes, your profile is a 2-4, so you should be natural at something, but they may have been told from the time they were born that they were inept, they had 2 left feet, whatever it is. So, you start to believe that about yourself. But when you start to know what you were truly, your energy was put on this planet for, you can start to tap into that. And you can start to hear those voices inside of you that have wanted to get out, because they are there. They don't go anywhere. They've just been silenced for a lot of what's going on in the world and what we do to each other. So going on, if you have a 4 in your profile, you're, a people person. You have the gift of bonding. You've ever met those people who just have that way of connecting people and bonding with people. So that's the 4. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the profiles. And you always have 2 numbers in your profile. So now projectors. So projectors, you're the people who see things in a different way. You see how to make them better. You're great at improving processes to make them more efficient, to improve things in this world. So you're here to guide people to a better way of doing things. So does that sound like you, Val?
I think I do. I love to come around people, and I was this morning just talking to our rank and file friends, right? Like, I know what it feels like, and I totally want to come around people just like that and help them. So yeah, yep, that's me.
So one of the things as a projector that to really be in your flow is you really need to wait for the invitation, though. If you ever had given advice to people and it falls on deaf ears, or it totally flips and backfires on you, that's because as a projector, you're so enthusiastic about sharing ways to make things better, the way you see things. But if the people who are about to receive it aren't ready, you're going to get met with a lot of resistance, and they maybe feel some bitterness in it. So it's one of the lessons of a projector is to really wait to be invited in. And that sounds like, well, but I want to do it. And you're sitting on your hands, but you have to make yourself available too with that knowledge that you have. Otherwise, people won't see it and invite it in. So it's not so much about sitting and just waiting. When is that person going to come into my sphere? You have to be able to put yourself out there, and then the invitation will come. And the way you're best to make a decision is waiting for clarity. So that's not making that snap decision, kind of sleep on it, kind of feel it out. How does it feel? Waiting for that aha moment that you know it's the right decision. If you make your decisions that way, then things will flow. You'll meet less resistance. You'll feel good. Things will just go really naturally. Where with Greg and myself, we have to tune into our intuition. So we've got to have that little quiet voice inside of us give us that, yeah, this is it. And then if you listen to that, you'll know you're going in the right direction. So that's a really just a brief overview of some of the things that you can learn through your human design. The chart, besides these types of informations, they're also made up of gates and channels. And I was starting to blow Greg's mind the other day talking about gates and channels. And gates really are gifts, are innate abilities, and there are 64 gates in the chart. So these gates can also be connected together. So when two gates connect together, they form a channel. And that's where the real magic starts to happen, because when you have a channel between two innate gifts or abilities, those are the gifts that you can tap into and rely on. They have formed that channel. When you just have gates that aren't connected to each other, this is when you're going to find yourself starting to be drawn to people who have that connecting gate that will help you turn on your gate that isn't connected. So this is where this differentiation comes in, when you get these 64 gates and which ones are activated and which ones aren't, which ones are connected in channels. So this is the energy and the gift that you can rely on in your life. And you can have anywhere from actually no channels, and that's a reflector, up to 5, 6 different channels in your design. But we'll all have 13 gates activated. So just a little bit of the layers and the nuances that you can get with human design when you really have somebody who knows what they're doing. And I'm in the process of just soaking all of this up. So like Greg was mentioning, I'll be launching some practices in the new year that I'd love to share with your audience and help them get in touch with what their real purpose is here in life, and bring joy and love back into being on this wonderful planet of ours. And I don't know, a secret. This is the secret. Human design is the secret. The more I read about what's going on in the world, other modalities, I can draw it back to human design and how this is going to help the world. So that's my secret.
Well, thanks for sharing, Wendy. It's really like, you're explaining things in a language that you understand. And I think human design, I think we all want to know, why are we here? What is our purpose? And being someone before who really, really had those questions and was on a search, I find now it's fun talking about why God made me how he did and why I do what I do. It all makes sense, and it flows. It just flows through me. I'm comfortable in my skin. I think that's what it comes down to as well, is it's fun to learn about how others perceive you, or also just who you are and why you're wired how you are. That for me is it's brought me a lot of peace. I don't have a lot of questions anymore. I'm just comfortable in my skin. And I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the show, but I was talking about my 6-year-old who's making her Christmas list, and she's very, very perceptive. And since she was a little girl, she would make eye contact with just, others who go missed in the crowd. They're overlooked all the time. She just makes eye contact and she smiles, and she makes this really deep connection with people. And lately she's noticed that people aren't smiling at her. They're not making eye contact and they're not smiling with her. And she hears in her brain, well, they don't like me. They don't see me. They're not happy. And she said, Mom, that's what I want for Christmas. I want to see you smile at me.
Wow.
And yeah, that was a game changer for me. I was able just to hit the pause button and come back to why God has me here, and how I can take the game, I can flip the board, I can stop everything and come back to my most important mission, at the hands of a 6-year-old. So I wanted to share that with you.
That's beautiful. And you bring up a good point when you start, speaking of your daughter, of the value of human design in understanding how your child functions, what they're here for, what their purpose is, so that we can allow them to blossom and flower as they were intended to. I think if I had known this about my kids, and I'm very proud of the job I did bringing them up, but knowing now what I know about, who they are, and, how possibly, things that I would have done a little bit differently if I'd known about human design. I have 5 grandchildren, so I've pulled all of their charts, and it's really fascinating to look, because as children, they come in with no preconceived notions. They're an open slate. What they feel comes out of their mouth, or, what they do. It's unfiltered. And as they get told not to do this, or, conditioned by the world, they start to lose some of these qualities that they came into the world with. And if you're aware of what they are, you can support them from an early age. And it doesn't mean letting them do dangerous things if they're, they've got sort of that daredevil profile type of thing, but, allowing them to lean into these gifts. It's beautiful for, partners to know how the other one communicates through their human design, or even in business. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and there are ways to work with teams. There's certain gates in your human design that have certain skills attached to them. So if you're looking at your team at work, you can actually tell which skills you're missing on your team. And I think I got my notes here just to give you an idea of like the power of this. If you thought, where did I write them down? Yeah. With the gate 7, you're the planner. Gate 31, you're administrator. Gate 1, you're sales. Gate 8, you're marketing. Now these are just one word. They're not meant to be labels. But 13, counting, you're going to be good with the numbers. 33 is like oversight. 46 is stability. 29 is commitment. 2 is vision. 14 would be attracting resources. 15, it's a very magnetic kind of person. And 5 has to do with culture. And there's a whole lot more to all of these, like I said, one word labels. But if you look at the charts of the people you have working for you, you can see where there could be some gaps and how your team could benefit from maybe putting the right people in the right place with what they already have, or knowing where, like I said, where the gaps are. So using this in business as well to, just make the most of what you have, not to put people in boxes or label them, but just why not have people living in their best flow and their best energy to produce the best and be the happiest.
Hey, Wendy.
Oh, sorry. There was just a quick, Greg, I'll be quick. Just a number I want to throw at you because this was like really big to me. Age 1, children recognize 50 words. By age 3, they recognize 1,000. By age 5, they recognize 10,000 words. But by age 3, I read a study that said they have been told no over 5,000 times. They've heard the no. So yeah, that can really change you from a young age when you're told no for everything.
Yeah.
Boy, Val, positive affirmation, attaboys. Jordan Peterson talks about it all the time, especially young males. They don't get any attaboys. They don't get encouragement. This is big time. Wendy, before I forget my pre-dimension of mind. By the way, there's a product here. It's called New Design, whatever. Let's roll it out in January. I've just got some ideas there. This is a fascinating conversation. My question to you. You had an aha moment with this. This is my guy. Okay, so, and let's just share this with the 2 youngsters on the show. The youngsters are James McCormick. I can't believe he's only 55.
Wow.
Dude, he's 55 and Wendy, he's been just shot to shit and stuff. I tell you what, but he's doing what God's telling him to do. And that's leadership, especially amongst, again, men, young men, blah, blah, voters. Let's get off our butts here. And Val Olson speaks for herself as far as who she is. And my question to you is, you and I are both, well, actually, we're the oldest. I'm the oldest on the show. We're both, don't tell anyone, 64 years old. Don't tell anyone 64 years old. I'm less than 60 days to 65. So, but we won't tell anyone that. That's a secret, Wendy.
Okay.
Anyhow, you had an aha moment and you get to share something in your mid-60s or crowding mid-60s to 2 youngsters, including Val. Val is 42 and a half probably now.
Wow.
But you got an aha moment, and I believe it was a game changer, a life changer for you. I'm just speculating, as was Val's conversation with her 6-year-old Erica, just a game changer where you go, whoa. You had an aha moment. I'll bet you in the last few months, whatever. Share, if you would, because this human design stuff, this is you're really, really ahead of the curve here, okay, Wendy? But you get to share with youngsters what that aha moment was. They can actually apply it to their lives for the next 5, 10, 20 years of their lives and be kind of where we are. So share with them kind of what that aha moment was for you. And of course, we don't ruminate. We don't regret of not knowing it earlier. Here we are sitting on a national platform. You get to share it. So there you go. We're all where we should be, right? But share your aha moment, but what it meant to you as far as a change, just like Val talked about, Erica, and also what it means to you moving forward. Really talking to younger people. Go for it. I'll go on mute.
And it's all because of human design. Knowing that I meant to initiate. I'm a trailblazer. Never considered myself to be that. I was always the one who followed the rules, did what I was told to do. Was brought up in the 60s, need I say anymore? So, sort of the freedom of knowing that, I'm really meant here to initiate things. And then learning that the way I make decisions best is through my intuition and listening to it. And like I said, it's a very quiet whisper, this intuition. And I've known I've been intuitive, but I've never really paid attention to it. I've just thought, it's just the way I'm feeling. Nobody else feels like that. And so maybe I didn't really label it intuition. But sitting here the other week, reading and learning more about human design and listening to podcasts, and I had this little voice inside of me. And I stopped. I said, that's intuition. And what it said to me was that this is great human design. All of these things are great. We're helping a lot of women. You listen to podcasts, you pick up books. They're all written by women. We're talking about helping women get out of being, the super moms and having to do it all. And this is going to help them do that. And I thought, that's great, because we're going to have all, these women that we're helping, empowering them through human design. But what about the men? Nobody is talking about the men. We all need to really be in our flow, in our energy. But the men, almost even more than the women. And I think if we don't start talking about helping the men of this world, we're going to just flip the coin, and we're not going to have this true balance that, we're meant to have with each other, with nature. So my sort of goal, and it's not just to help men, but is really to bring this into the realm of speaking to men and helping them feel better about themselves, get rid of some of this anger that we have in the world, on both sides. But, I really want to help the men feel good about themselves, because I think it's long overdue.
Boy, Wendy, here you go, jumping in here, but because this is really an extension of the phone conversation we had. You and I are boomers, so we do phone calls, cell calls. We talked about the men because and it's kind of a secret. One of the big secrets is Jordan Peterson. 85% of his followers are men, and mostly Gen Z, younger men. On my YouTube channel, has great analytics. Over 75%, 80% of my followers on YouTube are men. But what I see, even visiting, I think I've told you about this, the Charlie Kirk event last year, where he's got all these, it's a political action, kind of thing, but campuses, college kids, chapters of conservatives, conservative kids educating youngsters. I went to that event, amazing event. Val's had full reports on that, but that was all Gen Z young people, 15 to 25, and the majority men, young men. They want to learn this stuff. They don't have any mentors, Wendy. They don't have the press. With the press, they don't have the public school system. What is it? 80% of teachers in public school system are women. That's fine. My mom, my grandmother, my great grandmother, women. Fine. But these youngsters, these young men, they have no direction. No, never mind attaboys and stuff. So Dr. Peterson's noticed it. I've noticed it. Captain McCormick's noticed it. Val Olson's noticed it. So whether you and I, or we know it or not, we're ministering to young men. And what a good thing that is to hear you reflect on that. I'll let you kind of finish off a little bit on that subject, because you're really drilling down to it in the need of these youngsters, these people. They want to be sponges to good new information.
Well, yeah, to be, live happy and productive lives. I want to give hope, that there is a way out of this sort of darkness that we're in right now, and really shed the light on what they're here to do, what their purpose is, and empower them.
That's so cool. Can I share just a quick story? It's
Sure.
a secret. So when the veil kind of dropped for me, and I was like really seeing things at a level where I recognized standing up for family. So I was in the political arena, and I had this message of, parents' rights matter, and we are losing all of our rights, meaning you don't actually get a say in how you're raising your children. And that message should, you can agree with it or disagree with it, but I assumed that was a harmless message. I didn't realize that standing up for children and family was one of the most dangerous at a national security level message to carry politically. And so when I was in the political arena and the veil really dropped, and I truly did have a target on my back. It was at that time where I almost became, I had fear. I had so much fear, and I had good reason. I really was targeted for a period of time. And the fear that settled in was real. And fear is not something you can go to the grocery store and buy a bottle of, right? Like there's nothing on the shelf called fear, and you take it and you buy it. But fear is real. Anybody listening knows what I'm talking about. And so when I had fear overtake me, I felt that people couldn't relate to me anymore. And I felt like a connection to the military community when I felt like when they would come home and having had all these things happen to them, they understood the real, the evil, the fear, all of that. And it can be so overwhelming. And that was when I really dug deep. And for me, you know, I just laid it all out on the line, and I'm like, God, if you're real, I want to hear from you. Like, I know what I'm seeing and experiencing and going through is it's awful. It's like beyond brutal. Um, what happens now? And I was just brought to a number, John 10:10. So there's 10:10 for you. And the verse says, "The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I came that you would have life and have life abundantly." And I thought, wow, that is so true. There is a target on my back. The enemy is real, and he's got one assignment. He's going to take everything, destroy everything, and he's out to kill me dead. And but I didn't have to live in that. That I could let go of all that fear because there's a purpose with my life. My life is not just to be just have a life, but I get to have a life of abundance. And abundance to me isn't having more stuff and material and things, but a life that's full of peace and joy and calm. And I just had that vision, that picture, and that reality where I don't have to carry that fear. Like it doesn't get to stay inside of me, my mind, my body, my heart, my thoughts, anything. That was a really empowering time for me, and I come back to it all the time. That fear is real, but you get to decide to let it go. You don't have to carry all that stuff that goes with it. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thanks. Back to you.
Yeah. Wow, that's such an important lesson, whatever it is, and usually things are fear-based, whether it's the fear that you were experiencing from putting yourself out there, in your situation. But yeah, dealing with fear and owning that fear is crippling. It can lead to illness. It could, mental, physical illness. It's just not. It's not a good thing for mind, body, for family, and it's not something that you need to own. You got to be very, very careful, about what you let in, and fear shouldn't be one of them, and knowing what you're meant to be on this earth for and being able to walk in that space is very empowering. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I could feel that. I could absolutely feel what you were saying.
Don't you think a lot of men, it's fear is something that they don't talk about, but I really did have it on the inside of me, and until you let go of it, you can mask it, right? You can find ways to just deal with it through the moment, but unless you really let go of it, and come to a place of where you can, like, I'll just say getting rid of it, instead of just kind of dealing with it, but truly having it gone, there's a difference. I found much more clarity. I had more discernment. I had that back, and I didn't realize until it was actually gone, how much lack of discernment I had. And so now it's like a child touching a burner. I know,
You see it coming.
Right, you can see it coming. So I know how to, better deal with, oh, I know that one. and it can come in people, right? People can come to you with stuff, and I can easily put like fear on them. You know, I can say, hey, they're projecting fear, and no, thank you. And so yeah, I think the learning to work together and talk through ideas and concepts, and not being afraid to share our personal testimonies. Like for me, that's where the real is, because people can talk, but unless it's actually real and you've been through something where you can talk on both sides of it, it's just ideas. So to the main stage now, and where we're headed with media people, men especially, they're craving real. The world will tell you fake is better. Look to everyone else. Look to the TV. Look to the trends. Look to this. Look to that. But it's so empty. At the end of it, we all just want to know who we are, why we're here, what our purpose is, and I'm living on that side of it, and it's just so much easier to do life, so much less stress, so much simpler.
Wow.
And yeah.
So yeah, that's why this is called, human design. It's what we were designed to be, not something that's orchestrated by an outside force, designed by an outside force. This is our human design, your human design, Val, your human design, Greg, mine. So that's why this is just, to me, the perfect tool we need right now to really empower people and get them through this chaotic period of loss of identity. We're really lost trying to find who we are right now, and it's all in your chart. It's in your human design.
Boy, Wendy, that's, if anything, that's a beautiful, if anything, teaser.
That's the call to action.
For human design product line rolling out in January. We'll talk about it. What great information. I mean, you taught me a bunch of stuff today. Either way, I'd like you to take a minute. Again, we're on zero rush here. Okay, both Val and Wendy. The captain had to leave for whatever the captain does now, whether it's jumping out of airplanes these days, or fighting in Iraq, or volunteering at a local museum, or going to Ohio to perform a wedding ceremony. Whatever the captain's I had to bail for, I thanked him very much, and he did such an awesome job. Wendy, I'd like you to take a quick minute. Either way, again, not the end of the show or whatever, but and Val, keep reminding me we might try and take an Alberta minute here. Not sure, but Wendy, take a minute and talk about, because you had your aha moment. You've also, here you go, you've launched a website.
I have.
But the kind of went into that a little bit, and you kind of take your time. I know you had an aha moment in the last 30, 60 days, and I kind of want to celebrate that. And you launched that website, you see it from the inside, real quick on your end, and we've talked about it already, but just share that a little bit, especially with Val, because the last 30, 60 days of your life, I'd like to hear kind of what you've done behind the scenes. Don't feel shy of saying, hey, you worked with Greg on his shopping cart for whenever he gets his ducks in a row and gets copy over to you. But I'll mute again, but really share with that. The interesting thing here is I'm watching, I love it watching, because I'm a high-tech person now, Val. Beware when the baby boomers harness technology, and you're between a couple of bookends here, Val Olson. But I'll mute here a little bit to just, because what I'm watching is one of the smartest baby boomers I know, someone who's like growing, talk Kaizen, talk call to action. Yeah, this is your theme here, Wendy, call to action on your end. I've got a baby boomer gal, Wendy Tapley, talking to a Gen X 42-year-old female, Val Olson. And I'm interested in hearing this ministering to, and on both sides, because Wendy learns from Val, Val learns from Wendy, and I just sit around with my coffee, right? Just listening. So take off on your end a little bit there. Take off, Wendy, on just on what you're doing, the website. Yeah, you got so much info there, but just kind of what you personally are doing, and or what you might be rolling out in January, without telling any secrets, because we've got to talk about it behind the scenes now that I hear this stuff. So back to you, Wendy.
Yeah, I'm here to initiate. So I'm living my human design. So yeah, I launched my website last week, wendytepley.com. It's really a blog site at the moment, and websites are always a work in progress. So there is going to be more stuff being added to it. But I've been writing for a lot of years. I was writing mostly marketing copy for my clients. But I always wanted to write my own story. So I've just started writing articles. They're just random articles about different things that pop into my mind or conversations I've had. Like if you go to my site, you're going to see an article called when being a greeter at Walmart starts to look darn good. Titles right out of a Greg experience that he shared with me that resonated, that I had a similar experience. It wasn't Walmart, it was a grocery store, but there you go. There was the basis for an article. So written about unpredictability. It's another article. I've written about the psychology of eating. It's a course I took many years ago. So I'm just starting to just put these up online. And I'm going to be adding more to the articles. As I learn more about human design, there's going to be some articles about human design. There's going to be articles about wellness, because I'm very, very committed to holistic healing and helping people heal without a lot of intervention from Western medicine. So combining all of the things that I'm very interested in into one ball of wax. So that's what wendytepley.com is about. And just going to keep learning more about human design. Like I said, going to be launching something in the new year. I'm waiting for that little intuition. It's starting to happen inside. And I will definitely, this is where it's going to be shared first, on Secrets from the Inside. So make sure you keep coming back and listening to episodes. I'm also deep into learning how to be limitless. So I'm taking a course called Limitless Mind with a fellow called Jim Quick, Kwik. If you've never heard of Jim Quick, just Google him. He's got his new book that actually launched yesterday, that my copy will be here tomorrow. But he's really an expert on how to improve your learning, your motivation, your methods, and be limitless. Do not put any constraints on what your mind can do, because we can all do whatever we set our minds to doing, but we need some tools on how to do it. So it's been extremely helpful and a great adjunct to the studying that I've been doing, but it's also giving me a perspective on how to talk to some people who maybe don't have that motivation or that mindset, which goes hand in hand with learning about who you are. So I'm just really putting a lot of tools into my tool belt that I'm going to really be able to help people from a wellness point, a holistic point, mind, body, spirit, direction in life. And then if you want to know how to market yourself, I can throw that in too. So it's really, I don't want to say it's a culmination, because I really feel like this is a jumping off point of everything that I've learned in my life up to now. I'm actually going to be able to really start using. So it's never too late to start your life at any point. So that'd be a great title for an article. So I'll leave you with that. I do have to jump off here, but I just really want to be, inspiring for people to not set constraints on themselves because of who they think they are, because we're all
so
equally important.
I love that. Wendy, if you have to jump off, you just go at any time, but definitely tune back in, because I'm going to talk a little bit about you, your website, and I'm gonna just share a random, I called it a diamond this morning, a little podcast that was just like dropped on my phone. I honestly, legitimately, it was just like there. I didn't go searching for it. I'm only halfway into it, but a lot of it is talking about that intuition part and working in an environment that's really hostile or dangerous, and learning more about that just intuition and hearing from the voice of God. So I'm going to drop that for anybody that wants to check it out, but you might find it really interesting. I've really enjoyed what Wendy is talking about and sharing from her heart this morning. Wendy's website is I love her articles. I actually went on your website, Wendy, and I read through all of them, and I love the style that they're written in. Um, there's some links too, so I love that. So I just want to encourage you and say that you really are you're communicating and you're touching and reaching people's hearts through your just sharing what's real, what's happening in your life, and adding that element of video to it, of just taking from a movie clip is what I'm referencing. And you can go read the article about just, yeah, ready to just throw the towel in and say, I'm done. Maybe I'll just go get the job of least amount of responsibility. But that is not what's going to happen, right? We're not going to do that. We're going to hit the pause button. Go read Wendy's article. You'll know what we're talking about. That's just a tease for her website. It's
Thank you.
wendytepley.com. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can find me on social media under Wendy Tepley. I also have a Stay Well with Wendy. That's an Instagram handle I have as well. So, but if you go to my website, you'll find those links as well. So you can follow me on social media.
I will. I love learning the natural, the holistic approach. So that really piques my interest. And also that you committed to come back on Secrets from the Inside to spill more breaking news. So thanks again, Wendy Tepley. Check out her website, wendytepley.com. Greg, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. I know we do have to touch on Alberta. So take your time wherever you want to go next, Greg.
Oh, it's just the old thank Wendy, my buddy. I'll be talking either later tonight or tomorrow when I get my ducks in the road to get my my store started. Wendy's been very patient building Greg Meakin's store. Won't even announce anything yet, but thank you on the side for that. I signed off with Cap McCormick, thanking him, doing an awesome job. Wendy, I don't know if you have anything else to add or not. We'll cut you loose because we're going to talk boring Alberta stuff. Did I say that? I'm sorry. But as ever, thank you. We'll be catching up, so I won't need to do a long sign off. We'll be talking either later today or tomorrow. But thank you. You taught me some stuff. You taught me some secrets. I went to kindergarten this morning listening to your stuff. And take care, Wendy. Back to you on that, Val. Let's start. I'll just go talk Alberta stuff if you want. We're at 10 minutes. We're going to be crowding 2 hours any minute, which is cool. It's fine. I'm stunned at James's chat, and I'm stunned at Wendy's chat. There's going to be a lot coming out of that, Val. I can't even imagine your notepad from just today's show, and it's your facilitation show, right? You're the facilitator and you're the host. You're a host and you're a guest, and you're a part-time producer. I'm the main producer. But back to you. Just talk Alberta. Just go with Val Olson. It's just you and me for now. There might be a million people touch this later on, but go ahead and the floor is yours. You know how that goes. The floor is yours, and go for it.
Okay, how about just an overview, because there's a lot going on in Alberta. So I'm going to just give an overview of top things that are happening. One of the biggest, obviously, being, word is spreading fast amongst the neighborhood, amongst the community, that Tucker Carlson is going to be coming to Alberta. And that is exciting because it's like, sending a big dude into the ring, right? Because people are scared, and they're watching. They're scared to say what they really think, but they've heard that a fighter is coming to their town. And so, it doesn't matter what era, you want to get to that fight, you want to see it. So this is really exciting amongst the base of everybody, right? Because Tucker Carlson is a name that everybody knows. And he's coming to Alberta, and he's not afraid to say what he thinks. So the townspeople, the community, and when I say that, I mean I can go numbers, but I don't have to. It's right across the province. Like, I mean, I don't want to do people's homework. Ask whether you're from the right, the left, the center, the whatever. Do you know who Tucker Carlson is? It's a yes. So this is like a big fight that's coming to the neighborhood that everyone wants to see. Now, tickets for the event have rolled out early. And I'm talking, there's a number and there's a ceiling, and then there's just a stupid number, like a stupid number that is unreachable by practically everybody in the community. And I'm not just talking like, Fairview, Alberta, where Jordan Peterson is from. No, I'm talking the big cities where our voters of the poll are from, amongst the 857,523. And I imagine you've heard the giggling, the laughing, the exposing of the separation between the political class, right, and the townspeople. Like, you're really exposed, say, if you put tickets out for $300 a seat, a pop. Like, where's that to? The asshole section? I don't know. I think it's hilarious. And my 857,523 plus Alberta friends find it hilarious as well. I haven't talked to Tucker, but I mean, honestly, Greg, your thoughts on that? I mean, we can go into numbers if you want exacts, but I'm more about like the pulse of the entire community. Go ahead.
Do you have the date of that? That's Calgary, I think, right? Do you have the date of that? I mean, it's pretty damn. Is it January?
Yeah.
Do you know what date in January it is, Val?
Yeah, I do. Oh, hold on. It's going to take me a minute. What is
You
it,
should
January?
have those notes ready pre-show prep. You should have those notes ready.
January 23 or January 3rd. Does it matter? I mean, it's
No,
Taylor
it does,
Swift
because it
chart
depends
that
on
much.
whether it's my birthday, whether it's Mike Phillips' birthday, whether it's my grandfather's birthday, whether it's my aunt's birthday. That's January birthdays, whether it's Cam and Leslie's birthday. No, what date is it?
Okay, 2 seconds. Keep talking.
Oh, mini campfire going, just you and me. Just only clips in the wings right now. They're going to be great clips.
January 24th.
Okay, boy, that's a big notice. That's long notice, anyhow.
That's enough time for me to fire up the jet with my buddies.
Oh, sure.
And
Maybe
come
you'll see
back there.
How about calling the Blue Angels? But hey, that's we've already published about that. Remember, my word of the day is always published. We've always published it, Val, whether it's in print or on media or radio. So,
well, but if I invite them, Greg, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but if I invite the big guys, because like I've been questioned, like Val, this is a quote from Alberta. Who are the big guys? Who do you think they are? Do your freaking homework. Who do you think they are? And I'm sorry, if you've got the asshole section covered at $300 a pop, where do you want me to park the Blue Angels? Where? You tell me.
Who can afford a $300 ticket? And seriously, digressing, but I wouldn't attend an NHL hockey game now or an NFL football game or whatever. It would cost you, if you just decided to take maybe one of your twins to the game, you're going to be $500 deep, in the thing after tickets and, whatever.
Yeah,
if I drank, I could pay like $22 for a draft, hello. So bottom line, you're hitting on an important point though, pricing. Tucker Carlson, Val.
I'm not done yet, Greg. I'm not finished.
Go for it. I'll go on mute for a second. Let you go ahead, and I'll talk Tucker a little bit to the old guys. Go ahead.
good idea, just for a minute, because $300, what are you gonna serve me there? A cricket dog? What comes with that $300? You're gonna put me in the asshole section, and you're gonna give me what? A cricket dog? Are you gonna give me a pamphlet on climate change too? Because you're totally, brutally exposed. And part of the concern I feel is that come January 24th, the star of the show is Marlena, right? The star of the show. Is she going to stay or is she going to go? Right? Like, there's going to be a real fight in Alberta. And I just want to say January 24th is on the books. We don't accept the no show. We're there. We're going to pack that house. And $300 is a joke. Over to you, Greg.
What do you really think, Val? You got to cut loose a little bit. Don't beat around the bush. Jeez. So you're talking Danielle Smith is what you're talking. Right. And honestly, it's a big deal down here. We've talked about that. Again, Canadians don't know. Honestly, we'll talk with behind the scenes about Canadians behind their backs. Okay, Val, you're still, about 86% Canadian? I'm 50-50. But
I'm not talking behind anybody's back. I'm saying, Greg, no. I'm going to go there in person. I'll be there and I'm on standby. And you said Blue Angels. I didn't. I said my friends. And I already told Alberta, do your own homework. Who do you think the big guys are? Who do you think they are?
Oddly, Val, just again, secrets on the inside. The funny thing is all this stuff's published. I think it was the number 2 or number 3. Boy, number 2, that'd be a funny joke. Austin Powers reference. And number 2 or number 3 video on my YouTube channel is my invitation to Danielle Smith. Do you remember that one?
Right. Yeah.
And you were on there, and you remember I think you even shot over a text or a cell message or something, which you would have done as the investigative journalist you are. And that was number 2 video as far as views. And then, of course, the under the radar views, which when you have good analytics, people who viewed but pretended they didn't view but viewed, that number, Val. But anyhow, that's a secret for another day. But I always shout out and I always salute Danielle Smith. I really like her. I think her hands are tied. I won't say the word January 6th, they're Coots boys and hands handcuffed or anything like that, other than tragedies like that of the judicial system, both north and south of the border. It's a tragedy. It's an embarrassment. People in jail. I thought that was Pierre Trudeau under the War Measures Act in Quebec, 1970, and he jailed hundreds of guys. No warrants. We talked about that. No warrants. No bail. Hey, that's a good one. No bail. That's a good one. Unless you're in New York City. You go to Chicago.
Greg,
do you remember the? I know, but do you remember the Palestinian, the big one in New York, the protests? There were 4 people arrested. The guy up on the lamppost and stuff in the Al Qaeda outfit. There were 4 people arrested, and all were released that night with no bail. Did you know that? Anyhow, digressed. Back to you on that, Val. Back to you.
You're really being gentle, and I like Danielle Smith's talents as a broadcaster. I total high five. I'd love to sit down and just talk shop with her one of these days. But Tucker is coming, and do you not think that he isn't gonna ask why the Charter of Rights and Freedoms for Canada doesn't work in your province? Danielle or Marlena or whatever he calls her. I don't know her real name is Marlena, but Danielle, Premier Smith.
Yeah. The non-withstanding clause. I'd say, what's with the non-withstanding, meaning the Charter of Rights is like null and void? What does that mean? Yeah. You're talking Tucker. The big question down here in Arizona, Val, about honestly Danielle Smith and Tucker is, will she show or not? I'm telling you what the U.S. is saying behind everyone's back, right? Will she show? Because down here, this is standard operating procedures right now for procedure for Democrats, and we'll throw Trump's name out of this. He's not showing because he's smart. But down here, remember the big debate because Katie Hobbs didn't show to any of the Carrie Lake debates. So it was show or not show, show or not show. And that's a big question. There might be even Vegas money on that, but I encourage. I'm thrilled to hear Tucker's going out. I'll talk about Tucker. This
Well,
not secret stuff, but just I've been following him since the '90s, Val, the
can you
1990s.
confirm that? Oh, you said
What?
you said 45, 47 there, I think.
No, I
Con
didn't. No.
okay, I heard confirmed. Not, I didn't hear that. I would quite. That's news to me. I wouldn't bet you on that he's not coming, because I haven't heard that.
Oh
Back
no,
to you.
whether Danielle Smith shows or not show, he'll be going. If there's a date there, Tucker will be there.
Oh, okay. All right.
No,
Yeah.
whether show or not show, whether Danielle's going to show or not, I encourage her to. I say this to everything. The only exception is Donald Trump, because anyone who's sitting through courtrooms for made up kangaroo court stuff all day is exempt. Okay, and he doesn't need to. He's going to be the nominee. He's going to be my code number is name for Donald J. Trump is 4547. Been saying it for many years, but that said, no, Tucker will be there.
Right. I just talked about firing up the jet, and I didn't hear. No, I've already said I have 24th of January. I've booked off like $300.
Are you going to go up there? Maybe we'll get a corporate sponsor. Maybe we'll get George Soros money to cover your $3 or something.
Well, if you want to talk foreign government involvement, did you want me to talk about that? Because you're behind. But
not yet. Not yet. Park that for just a second.
Okay. Oh, okay.
God, it's great. It's great. Honestly, I mean this too, right? You get to sit with. You had a great little paragraph there of the pre-show, the pre-prep guy, the producer, the host, the guest, the whatever, serving the popcorn, whatever, same guys that you're talking to here. But I wanted to kind of, if anything, just kind of wrap this up before just on the Tucker thing. Okay, just before I forget, because again, I remember 60 years ago, but I can't remember how he started the sentence. But I followed Tucker Carlson since he had a bow tie. People will understand what that means. It's the 1990s. It was a show called Crossfire. And it was CNN, and he did stuff before that too, but CNN, and he would get off on with the mandatory token liberal, right, with the terrible ideas, and he tried to be the single conservative. And he was great. He was great. I was a fan of his back then. What people don't realize is when he took over for Bill O'Reilly, Tucker's name was buried. He was not a B tier, but just an up and coming guy like Jesse Waters. We won't talk about him. I know stuff. It's just so awesome with Jesse Waters, how far he's come. But Tucker was taking over for Bill O'Reilly, the O'Reilly factor. And very quickly, he just launched it even further than O'Reilly ever got it. Not, again, that's debatable and stuff, but amazing guy. I call him, and then I'm not afraid to just tell it like it is. I tell him to his face. He's a nice guy. I watched him speak in public. But he's an Ivy League guy. I think he'd be the first to tell you. He's an Ivy League guy, kind of a fraternity house guy. I don't know if he did the fraternity or not, but whatever. One of those guys, he'll tell you don't use the word silver spoon, but he didn't have a tough upbringing at all. He's a California kid. But the thing that people don't know about Tucker and why I really have followed him, when I follow someone, Jordan Peterson, Donald Trump, Harry Brown, Tucker Carlson, when I follow those people, I know they're a bit ahead of the curve. But Tucker, he truly is a libertarian thinker. He'll say what is true in his mind, which is he was against the Iraq War, tremendous, or at least against the invasion of Iraq. So was Donald Trump. So was Greg Meakin. Blah blah. Thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. It turned out to be a 20-year quagmire. So anyway, digressing here, but it's worth it. I just want to say, number one, how much I respect Tucker Carlson. He'll be in Calgary. Don't worry. It's just a matter of who's going to be there with him right now. It just depends on that.
Hey, if I have to pay $300 and sit in the asshole section, I'll do it. No, I'm there. I got money on the table, my friend.
Did you said the asshole section? I mean, you're just evolving to be cutting edge here. It's great. A lot of this is, I'm going to say seriously, will end up probably in the secret files. Parental warning against Val Olson, Hell Media Mom. Oh my God,
What
$300 for the
handler?
asshole
What?
section, huh?
Yeah, what handler? Like,
Oh.
what a loser handler brought that one in that number? Come on.
But if
Like,
it's
don't be a loser.
is it $300 Canadian or US? Because if it's $300 Canadian, that's no worries. That's like $18 US. That's $18 US is 300 Canadian. So, the just tying it up on the Tucker thing, and I'll cut to the chase. It's a little over actually 2 hours, and it's worth it to me. I'll make the rules just rock and roll. I'm a manifester here, right? But on the Tucker thing, I've had this conversation with you many times. I've had it with the captain many times and other people. Is I go to the top. I go to the top. Always have. Don't know why, but it's been confirmed many times in my life. That was a good thing to do. If I wanted an endorsement for hockey, I got one from Wayne Gretzky. Speed skating, Apollo. Oh no. How about women's hockey? Cami Granado. If young women don't know Cami Granado's name, shame on you. Blah blah. We'll go to the top. And that's why we got Captain McCormick. That's why I think I have you, Val. I think you're the top as a journalist, investigative journalist. You simply ask questions that people don't ask. But Tucker, to me, and I've told this to Sheriff Mark Lamb and others, Tucker's the top. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, not shy, is I hope to be in touch with him. I consider him the top of journalism in the world right now, period. The throwback to true investigative journalists. The secret about Tucker is he's a wordsmith. He's not a TV guy, and never was. He's a wordsmith. His strength was editing and wordsmithing, which people don't know. I bet you if he wanted to sit for an hour and really do only one thing in journalism, it would be reading through maybe other people's stuff and editing and dissecting it as a wordsmith. People don't know that. Tucker Carlson's a wordsmith, not necessarily a TV guy. But I consider him the top. I've said this before. If I ever contact anyone in the media at the national level, whatever, I'm only interested in talking to one person. No offense to anyone else, that's Tucker Carlson, because he's at the top. And in my eyes, in my view, and we know, I think the top law enforcement in the state of Arizona is Sheriff Mark Lamb, but don't tell anyone. That's a secret, Val. I'm renaming sheriffs. I'm going to rename his campaign Lamb 51. He actually liked that. Lamb 51 makes a lot of sense. We've published it before. But that's the thing on Tucker, and he'll be there in Calgary. If he says he will, he will. So I encourage Premier Smith to visit with him. And I would, as I've said this before in the past, I'd ask her one question. I'd forward this to Tucker. If a referendum, a legitimate provincial referendum, just like the two I voted in Quebec, saying, hey, do you want to be do the people of Arizona, the same thing, Alberta, Arizona 48, Alberta 51, the people of Alberta vote yes to the question, do you want to be the 51st state of the United States of America? That's it, up or down. The invitation from Thomas Jefferson's always been there, but yes or no. My question to Danielle Smith be, what would your answer be? Yes or no? You can't be undecided when you come down to election time. And I would just, honestly, I'd love to hear her answer. And that's with total respect, because my theory, and I've published this, Val, my theory is there's closet AB 51 voters up there I'm talking, forget thousands, right, Val? We've talked about this off the air. No, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But there's closet AB 51 voters because they simply can't say it publicly. Canadian journalism and press and the internet's already being censored by Canada. They're trying to do it down here. It's not going to work down here, Val. It's not going to work down here. And that's why we're on this platform on X. But that was a bit more of a monologue than I thought. But I encourage Danielle Smith to visit with Tucker. Because I'll tell you what, forget these labels. Tucker's the smartest guy I know. He's a true libertarian, but he's fair. He chided George W. Bush for invading Iraq, and I agreed with him, and Donald Trump agreed with him, and people gave him crap for that, but he was right. 20 years, what was it? I don't know, 20 years, X trillions of dollars. And then Joe Biden just says, hey, we'll call it a day and do what Democrats love to do, and that's surrender. They love to surrender. It's easy, and try and take credit for it. They love to allow crime to happen in big cities. They love that. It just seems to really work well for their platforms and even county and state regulations they put in. No worries, no problem. Let crime go rampant. That kind of thing. Tucker's really, really level and fair on all that stuff, and he'll call BS. Tucker Carlson will call BS on any Republican out there, Val. He'd call BS on you or me or anyone, because that's what good journalists do.
Well, he is American though, and not Albertan, and like there could be an intimidation factor, quite honestly, if you're only used to working with the state propaganda machine in Canada. So that could be what we're dealing with.
Well, I think you're hitting the head. I'll get it back to you. It's called Don't Be Scared. Okay. I'm just telling you, hey, it's nice to be on my own show, but to everybody up in Canada, and I remind myself every day, because I'm half Canadian, don't be scared. Do a Sheriff Mark Lamb. No fear, do right. Just do it. We listened to him say that, Val. He inspired me for that. Don't be scared. If you got fear, lean in. Remember this, Val? Lean into your fear.
Right.
And so I would say, I wouldn't want to, honestly, I wouldn't want to be living up there now, Val. I've said this before, only because of government oppression, honestly, whether it's the border or airline gates or immigration, whether it's the media, censorship. Everybody I know up there is worried about being monitored, not only monitored, but censored and whatever. I'm saying that's not the way it's supposed to be. Come on, man. Oh, you're getting me riled up. So there's Tucker Carlson, there's Alberta, and I'm sure we're going to wrap it up one of these moments. But you go ahead, Val. I ranted, so you rant. There we go. Here we go.
Well, I'm an Albertan American, so I really believe in diplomacy, and I really believe in the power of that dining room table and talking. And you're going through the list of, censorship and oppression and tyranny and all these things. But I want to just unpack those words for you. I want to talk about what it's like for hungry children. Okay. These people are my friends and neighbors. They are in my point of contact. I think some call it ICE in case of emergency. These are my people. This is my neighborhood. This is my community. They are hungry children in the wintertime in Alberta. As we know, the parents cannot afford to properly clothe them, properly heat their homes, properly feed them. Now over to our senior population. Lives are on the line, and these are Americans' closest neighbors / relatives / friends. Okay. This is not a time to be political. This is a time where I really believe that we need to talk about that hunger, that lack of medication, that lack of the most basic of human necessity that isn't available to America's largest trading partner, family friend. We're in this together, right? We're in this together. So I think it's really important to not lose sight of, not just wrap it all up with a bow and say, oh, oppression, oh, tyranny, but unpack. These people don't have access to proper food, okay? Protein, ivermectin, let alone a line of communication. So we need to start talking about that brown box, okay, and putting life-saving things in it. And you want to talk sponsorships, or like, I don't know where the ceiling is here. I'm just being honest. I don't know if we're talking about foreign government, but I don't think we have to. I think that we can talk local government, aka United States of America, and they are hearing about their friends and neighbors, their children, senior citizens that are hungry and freezing cold. You really think the human element, the human compassion and hope isn't heard on this radio show and where this radio show goes? I think they're at high alert. So just keep that in mind. That's what I wanted to share. Thanks, Greg. Back to you.
That's deep and heavy stuff right there. That's why your brand is perfect. You're the mom. You're on the home front, and you're not faking it. You're saying you are a mom. You're home media mom. You're a mom that's just learned that you're an incredible homeschooler. You just learned that from your kids. I need to hear these stories from you of forget boots on the ground, skates on the ice. We're talking little teeny shoes. Are you telling me, and right between the eyes here, Val, seriously, are you telling me there are people up in just call it Alberta, kids and old people that are actually suffering? I mean, I'm serious, like
Yes.
suffering. Please clarify. I'm just shaking my head here. Seriously, and please go ahead. Go into as much detail as you want.
All right. It's hard because I'm getting text messages. I'm hearing it firsthand. And the worst part is when you don't hear it, but you can see it. You like the power of even a 30-second text message, personal video update showing what it's like in their home, showing empty fridges. You want to run a contest, open your fridge, show me what's in your fridge. There's nothing in the fridges. There's nothing in the cupboards. The grocery store, if they get anything, is made in China, garbage food with who knows what's even in it. These people have not had beef in some going on years. Okay, it's real. They're sick. You cannot find ivermectin horse paste for animals. That is a luxury item. Access to medicine, access to life-saving surgeries. People are dying.
How?
And in Alberta.
How does that happen? Go ahead. How does that happen with so much resources and funds up there? And just how does that happen, Valia? I'm my jaw's dropping here. Go ahead.
Well, how much time do we have? But what comes to mind is you summarized it. You published a direct notice, a call of action, a wake-up call letter that was directly sent to the Prime Minister of Canada. And I think that's a great starting point. Do you happen to have that? And could you get it? Because this is the sad part. Those that are playing catch up, they need to hear this. This was published, last year. But I think it's very important to just bring us up to where we are. Do you have a minute? And could you read that for us?
Wow, you rarely catch me unprepared, Val. But
okay,
I'm still not.
Okay.
I'm still prepared. You're talking about the open letter to Justin Trudeau?
Yes.
Okay. This is the first. We've talked about this. I don't read my stuff on the air. I just haven't. I've once or twice in my life done it, but I think we bantered over this a while back and stuff. And I say, one of these days, I'm just going to do my own audio books, books on tape and stuff. And I look back. That Justin Trudeau letter. It was. I honestly, I don't have the date time stamped on it, but I think it was 2022.
June, I think.
Yeah, I wrote 2 open letters to him. One was how to fix the convoy situation in Ottawa. Remember that one?
Yes.
And then I wrote him one because I figure, hey, in this world of open letters, it'll get to him, right? And either way, it's almost open letters are written for the general public, not just the principal, as we know. But I don't think I ever wrote an open letter about politics. And I won't even talk about sports and stuff because I don't even want my dear, dear friends in sports to have their name associated with politics. The garbage up in Canada. I said garbage, that's Canada. Canadian up in Canada and the U.S. But I have, you won't believe this, Val. I have in my hand, hold on, like Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh would do. Open letter to Justin Trudeau. Is that the one you're talking about by Greg Meakin?
Yes, also on his website. gregmeakin.com.
Oh, are you there? Are you actually looking at it?
No, I'm waiting. I was just letting our listeners know if they're finding the delay in starting of reading the letter, they could just go to your website,
nice.
gregmeakin.com, and find the letter as well as every other article up to date on AB 51 whenever you're ready.
I'm going to have to start paying you as a PR gal like Jen Psaki. In the old days when PR people had talent, not like today. Most awful press corps I've ever seen in the history of my lifetime in Washington, D.C. Well, that's another conversation.
Circle back.
Circle back. Greg, see, you're keeping me on track, right? I'm a manifester. That gives me an excuse to be a complete flake, right? So here we go. I honestly have it in front of me. It's called, and I'm going to read it. Do you mind if I read it? It's going to be, I think if I remember on YouTube, I don't know. I think it's like 5 minutes, but anyhow, if you'll be patient, I'll be patient and read it.
Please.
Okay. Open letter to Justin Trudeau by Greg Meakin. Dear Prime Minister Trudeau, I am writing just to give you a heads up that you will be losing one of your provinces any minute. Alberta. It shouldn't be a surprise or disappointment to you that Alberta will choose to divorce Canada. You've been dismissing and dissing Alberta since you could barely talk. So why stop now? I think I even heard you snicker with the first line of this open letter. As I wrote in a previous open letter to you, I remember the day you were born. I told a school buddy in Dorval, Quebec, that the baby in diapers born on Christmas Day 1971 would be prime minister someday. I was 12, but I was right. I grew up in Montreal and voted for your dad twice because my Protestant school board of Greater Montreal mother told me to. That's another story. I left for the United States in 1983 and now live in Arizona. In my dual citizen lifetime, I have been a constituent of 11 Canadian prime ministers and 13 U.S. presidents, including you, Justin Trudeau, and President Biden down here in the States. I am a media analyst, business analyst, and political wonk. I covered your father in 1978 for my college newspaper. My favorite president was Ronald Reagan. I miss Reagan so much. I miss JFK. I miss the leaders who, despite being politicians, truly espoused a love for their country, a respect for the rule of law, and an ingrained duty to protect all citizens. In my 63 years, and after objective consideration, I have determined the worst president in the history of the United States is President Joe Biden. No question. Jimmy Carter was inept during his tenure, but he was a good man, a smart man. And President Carter loved and respected his country and constituents. Sadly, to me, the worst Canadian Prime Minister in history is Justin Trudeau. You. And it's not even a close call, sir. I won't take any time here to list the blatant failures of your tenure or the decisions you have made as leader of my beloved Canada. The laundry list of ineptitude and corruption is way too big and way too tragic. You have failed the Canadian people in every way imaginable. And shockingly, even to me, you don't seem to care. It is this apathy and arrogance that has caused Westerners to become disenfranchised as old-fashioned, irrelevant Canadians. Albertans are frustrated and angry with the blatant disrespect coming from Ottawa and Quebec. But you've known that for decades. If it weren't for the royal Santa bag of Alberta equalization money flown back there every year, Eastern Canada wouldn't even put Alberta on its Christmas card list. My message to you, Mr. Prime Minister, other than to resign immediately, is please do not be surprised when Alberta citizens choose to become the 51st state of the United States. And please don't pretend you love them and want them to stay. Please don't shame them for wanting to keep their own oil revenues or for their own citizens and not sharing those billions with an abusive spouse in Ottawa. And please understand, when Alberta dumps you, other provinces will follow. You heard it here. As touched on above, my mother in Dorval, Quebec, was a school teacher. She taught me that you often don't know what you've got until it's gone. On June 30th, 2023, or earlier, Albertans will choose to become the 51st state of the United States of America. Write it down. Mark it on your calendar. A narcissistic, abusive spouse is often shocked when losing control of a domestic situation. And when a loving, lifetime partner just ups and leaves forever. Alberta will stroll down the road to American freedom next June, and there won't be anything you can do about it. So please don't gaslight. Please don't blame Alberta for wanting out. Don't blame her. Could you change this divisive direction, Mr. Prime Minister? Could you repair the foundation of a cracking confederation? Sure. Truly great leaders have the gift of pragmatism, of courage, and inclusiveness. But after penning an open letter to you last February, urging you to diplomatically mitigate the Freedom Convoy 2022 standoff, I then watched in horror as you froze personal bank accounts, you locked up dissenters with no bail, you verbally trashed lawful and thoroughly Canadian protesters. The world was watching this un-Canadian abuse of power and oppression wrought upon law-abiding citizens during the Freedom Convoy episode by an emotionally detached Prime Minister. I sadly concluded you are less interested in the daily lives of Canadians as you are your own lofty throne in Ottawa, or perhaps your self-casted dramatic role on the world stage, or both. Is it too late to salvage Alberta? I'm not sure. But once again, just a heads up, Alberta, USA, June 30th, 2023. Write it down, mark your calendar. Because sometimes in life, you don't know what you got until it's gone. There you go.
So that's the update for those that are playing catch up in Alberta. You can take that to your premier, CC Danielle Smith. That's the latest. So lots of homework to do. We could talk numbers. We could talk how people just keep reaching out, desperate, but full of hope, excited to have Tucker come and visit, and others. Lots of Americans, I imagine. $300. Pfft, what's that? It's exciting what's happening in Alberta. There's fight, there's hope, there's determination, and best of all, you get to have your say. Greg, that was awesome. Anything else you want to add regarding AB 51 update?
Well, if I pull myself together emotionally here, thank you for walking me down emotional lane once again, Val, right? Every show, I just promise myself I'm not going to get emotional or goodness start actually bawling. Right? I can't get through a movie. I can't get through the movie Field of Dreams without crying, right? So anyhow, so thank you for that. Thank you for that platform. I will wrap it up real quick. And indeed, it's amazing the time here, and it's a beautiful thing. It's just going to be a great show, and it's going to be great clips. It's going to be memorable clips. It's going to be mentorship. It's going to be leadership. It's going to be Epiphany is going to be Alberta. It's going to be a bunch of stuff. So on the Alberta thing, I guess I never know what I'm going to say or sign off with. But you, Val Olson, have shared really deeply from your heart your love for Alberta and the Albertan people. You've shared more than you might have thought today. I've definitely shared more than I might have thought today. But the people of Alberta and really kind of everyone out there who's really asking me the same question every day. Can we even fix this mess? You know, why I came to America. Can we even fix this mess? By the way, it will be an audio ebook, but I'll be writing it live as we go, kind of like blog style, Val, but that's a secret for another day. Delivery before Christmas, again, another secret for another day. But you know, to the people of Alberta, I just want to say, and I mean it, we absolutely love you. There's about 1 million people in Alberta that could vote, say, in a referendum or an election or whatever. 932,000 people voted for Danielle Smith. last election, and she's the premier, and there you go. That's how it goes. So really, we're talking 1 million people or less. I've already thrown out the number 999,999,999. Remember that one, Val? Just that might be the over-under for Vegas before, you never know it. But anyhow, there's a bunch of people in Alberta that really, they're just saying to themselves, and can we even fix this mess? Can we ever have the feeling of freedom that we get in the United States? Don't believe the press. We get freedom down here. Don't believe the press. We love it down here. That's another episode for another day, Val. But the folks in Alberta, I look at all of you guys. I really do. I look at you guys, about 1 million people. Million. There's about 4.5 million, but there's about 1 million people that would actually go to a poll and vote. And so honestly, I've said this many times, everyone else is excluded from this conversation. And I say even Alberta politicians and other Canadian politicians and media people that want to opine their 2 cents. Sorry, apologies. You're not invited to the conversation unless you're a registered voter. If you're a registered voter in Alberta, would you vote yes, no, or undecided? We've had entire episodes on this, Val, but my message to everybody up in Alberta, and it really is, and I think it's to a lot of people around the country, can we even fix this mess? You betcha. You betcha. Okay, north and south, okay? That's number one. It takes leadership, it takes guts, okay? But you betcha. And Alberta, you can fix it. But you won't the way things are going. You won't until you work together as a team. You won't until you pull together, as all great teams or all great movements, whatever, is pull together, is not preached to the choir. I joke, you've heard this. This is a broken record to you, Val, but I've said all of you guys up there, guys and gals, arguing amongst yourselves, blah, 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 blah. It's not new. It happens in all those associations and everywhere where humans are, gather. And goodness, social media now, it's made it exponential. It's leveraged everything, including leveraging the voices of silly little trolls and operatives. Or
Can I just give a quick shout out, because I know a friend is listening.
Yes.
I just want to talk to Pencil Pusher Dick. He's overlooked. He's made fun of. This is the guy he's the game changer guy, and he represents guys and gals global scale. He's made fun of, laughed at all the time. But he listens. And he told me something a long time ago. Don't ever underestimate Pencil Pusher Dick. And that's from him. And it just reminded me this morning. Don't mess with the underdog. Don't overlook the little guy. Don't assume that you know everything, like in Alberta. Oh, we know how our neighbor's gonna vote. You don't know Jack. Dick, Jack, Doug, the underdog, thank you. And I stand with the underdogs. Back to you.
Wow. Live radio, long form, unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled, undoxed. Bet you $1 million you didn't think that you'd say that today, Val. And that's the whole point of our Secrets from the Inside, right? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. You're talking about the rank and file again. These are entire shows, Val. We're talking about the rank and file. We talk about this all the time down here. There's regular folks. It's the deputies, the cops, the folks who are just working for a living.
And it's Dick.
Pencil Pusher Dick. It's Dick. Yes, Dick. Shout out to Dick. There is Rush Limbaugh always said this. This was his mantra, going way back to the Bill Clinton years. Don't you underestimate the power of the American citizen, person, voter. Reagan understood this too. Don't underestimate them, because all of a sudden they're just going to show up to the polls and it's going to be a landslide. Reagan won 49 states. So don't underestimate the American people in this case. Don't underestimate Albertans, right, Val? We've talked to them. Talked to them.
Yeah. He's the numbers guy. Pencil Pusher Dick. Write it down. You make fun of him. I'm sorry, but
he's a real dude. And
Could that be the
he knows the
title
numbers.
of could that be the title of an essay or something? You never know. We might dedicate something here.
Pencil push your
Seriously.
dick.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I can ask if he's okay with it, but
We can keep him off the record, right? Your
we have
witness
to put him
protection
in
program.
Val's witness
That's right.
protection program.
That's right. I will, believe it or not, just by default on my part, we've been, of course, to overtime and beyond overtime and stuff. And I will actually start to wrap it up a little bit. And of course, you never know how long it's going to go after this. It's called Secrets on the Inside with Greg Meakin, and I'm the dictator, and I make the rules. So, but I'll start kind of wrapping it up a little bit here. Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing, amazing. But folks, really tune in to this stuff. You won't see 3-hour radio shows every time, hopefully 59 minutes, but really tune in. The plugs, of course, the Home Media Mom for Val, Home Media Mom, Val Olson, and of course, GregMeakin.com, and of course, James McCormick's organizations. And oh my God, the out of the blue parachuted in was Wendy, IT Wendy, Val, that's a game changer. We've changed games already today. That's what the show's all about. But forever and ever, I just want to thank you for this awesome platform. We've obviously laid the foundation and laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff. I can't imagine how filled up your notes are today just from this show. And we touched on stuff. We hit on stuff. But in the end, this show and this actual show, we thought it was going to be an hour, but this was, and I talked to the captain on this too. This was, called Action Day USA, and that's what our goal was here. And you know what? That's what we damn accomplished, Val, and all four of us did. And my final, it's not if I'm sounding like a sign off. Oh my goodness, will I be off the radio and not hearing my own voice speak? Right, but. The call to action is really time to lift a finger, everybody. Time to get off our hands. I've had many years where I've been either lazy or disabled or not feeling like stuff. But now we have a 1-year sprint to November 2024 down here. You guys up in Alberta have a sprint to the next provincial election, the next provincial referendum that will be called up there. Now, that's your sprint. We'll keep you posted on that. But down here is November 2024. And of course, March 3rd, 2024, Val, which is the Arizona primary. We're watching it every minute. You have opined. I have opined on the Lamb versus Lake race, Senate race. And I've said before, I'll say again, I'm calling it Lamb 51. Lamb as the 51st vote. That's just me. But I'll kind of wrap it up on my end and this end, and actually turn it back to you for just nice little one of your sign-offs, as much as you want to do. If you want to do a 60-second sign-off, that's great. If you want to do multi-minutes, anything that's on your heart, your mind, I'm sure I won't have my voice much longer. Of all the things I thank you for, and Captain and Wendy and stuff, one thing that I honestly did not expect, I didn't expect to read my own work. The Justin Trudeau letter goes way back, and honestly, I forgot how poignant it was, including identifying referendum day, June 30th. It turned out to be extended to July 31st, if you imagine, Val. But I told him months before that he was going to get a vote in our forensic poll that maybe he's even surprised with. So there you go. I'll turn it back to you. I'll take a break and finish up the show next Wednesday. Hard start, believe it or not, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and of course 10 a.m. Arizona time and 10 a.m. Alberta time. But Secrets from the Inside, it will be episode 004. There have been, I told you this, Val, there have been a ton of people, they're going to listen to this broadcast. I'm just telling you. And influential people, and just fun. Just, hey, they know, words out, okay? Words out, Secrets from the Inside, words out. But I definitely know we had, boy, it's nice to just take my time on my own show here, Val. It's great. But we had, as you know, and you verified this, my YouTube channel is being followed now by 51 cities, both in Canada and the U.S. It was cool. 51 cities. Going out to a lot, like 25, 20 to 20.
34.
Okay.
34.
Oh, countries. That's right. I had people in England they're waiting to hear this broadcast. I have people in Australia waiting to listen to this broadcast. I have a funny feeling maybe my gentleman in South Africa or affiliated with South Africa will listen to this. But so big audience, as you say, definitely plus 34 countries and stuff. So to all the folks in Alberta and even in Arizona, never stay too close to the forest to see the trees. There's lots of life going on outside of Arizona. There's lots of life going on out of Alberta. And that's why you need to tune in here for Secrets from the Inside every week. But in the end, I never even know when I start the show what secret's going to be revealed. So this was news to me today. So to all those folks out there, I think you even at one point, Val, gone through we'll do this another show, the city list of Alberta for the vote, and my YouTube channel, and city list for the forensic poll was 154 cities. Some had as little as one voter. Some had number one was Calgary. Calgary is just leading the pack on not only forensic poll in the past, but on my YouTube channel. How's this? See, how's this for a secret? Second number one city following me on YouTube, Val. I think you were the only human being that might have known this. Is Toronto.
Yeah.
Maybe I've trashed the Maple Leafs too much, but either way, second. And I think third was Edmonton, third was Phoenix. But anyhow, I'll leave it at that. You do the awesome sign-offs. I will finally stop blabbering here, but to all of those listening, because it's all about the listeners. It's about the listeners. I really, really, really hope you got something out of this. Whether you end up hearing 60 seconds on a clip or whether you hear the entire broadcast. It was packed chock full of secrets, of good stuff, of learning experiences, kindergarten experiences. It was filled with Kaizen. We had captains, we had IT geniuses, and we talked about a lot of stuff, including sheriffs. So back to you finally, Val, but thank you, my dear. Thank you for hosting this platform. I cannot wait. I really mean it. I can't wait to listen back onto the clips as the post-production guy I am, whatever. So thank you so much. Okay, hats off to you. Hats off and heartfelt love to everyone in Alberta. God love you guys up there. We'll have any of you on anytime, or at least talking. gotta give a disclaimer there. We'll chit chat with folks at any time. You know that, Val, including Danielle Smith. So God love you guys. God love everybody. And indeed, God bless. I wake up in kindergarten every day. There's so much to learn and so little time, because before you know it, you're in grade 1. So that's my sign off, Val. See ya.
Thanks, Greg. And you really mentioned some big leaguers. You mentioned, the guys at the top, but I'm talking to the ones in the office. And I just want to say I appreciate that pencil pusher Dick was ready to come out today and represent as one. Thanks for taking a stand. And any losers around the office who want to make fun of those in the back office, big mistake. This show is dedicated to all of you in the back office, the game changers. So thank you. Secrets from the Inside, episode 003. Greg Meakin calls himself a producer, publisher, and radio guy. But he's also a writer, a pre-show prep guy, and a live producer, host, and guest. The post-show production guy, the publisher, and yes, the sales and marketing guy. Have a great week, everyone. God bless Alberta. God bless America.